Alright, welcome to round 3 of the ASEAN Age Group Chess Tournament. So, yep, we'll start off with some classics, of course. We've got to cover Aino Madia, who is probably our best hope right now in all the categories. So, let's start with this game. It's a typical sort of QGD. Yeah, the second one. Uh, so, okay, let's start from the beginning. So d4, d5, c4, e6, knight c3, and bishop e7. It's typical idea. This is very classic system. Obviously, the idea is that she wants to avoid, if possible, some ideas like bishop g5 here, I reckon. But of course, bishop e7 is a little bit yeah. It does avoid bishop g5 immediately, but it also limits our options in the sense that we have to play systems with bishop e7. Yep. But okay. Anyway, it's not very important. White takes on d5, so it's an exchange QGD. It's a typical Carlsbad structure. h3, rook e8, e3, and black plays knight e4. Interesting. Yeah, because as I understand, the knight e4 idea is very common in a lot of these lines here, but usually it's played after bishop g5. And the idea is that after castles e3, there will be a lot of ideas with knight e4. Yeah, for instance, after move like bishop d3, then I think knight d4 is already, again, maybe not now. Rook e8 followed by, for instance, after castles, knight e4 is definitely an idea. Yeah, and yeah, the idea is of course that if you take, then it's a bit awkward to take on e4 because if you obviously can't take with the knight. But bishop takes does give him the two bishops, and pretty comfortable play lots of the time. So knight e4 immediately before bishop without bishop g5, it's less common, but maybe it's still okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. e3 and knight e4. I mean, if it was me, probably I would go for this typical idea where you go like knight f8 and g6 and this type of ideas and go bishop f5. But okay, knight b7 is knight e4 is also quite interesting, and now bishop d3 is played. So white does want to take this knight, I reckon, and now I know has stopped for quite a bit. So I mean, it remains to be seen what she will do. Maybe bishop f5 could be an idea. Try to just to strengthen that knight on e4, because I don't think black wants to play f5 necessarily, because I think that a lot of times what will happen is that white will put the knight on e5 followed by f3. And the thing about this e5 square is it's very different from e4, right? Because this is very much an outpost. It's going to be hard to chase this knight away, whereas this knight is going to be kicked with f3. And so I don't think black should be playing f5 in this case. But okay, I think she will go bishop f5. She plays f5, really? Well, just as I was saying she shouldn't do it, she does it. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I don't want her to have made a mistake. Yeah, she is our best hope at a medal, or or a direct title. So I want her to keep winning. But I'm not sure I like this idea from black, to be honest with you. So I guess castles will be played. Knight d7, and maybe I don't know. You can even see it's even a decent case of playing knight e5 right away, or we could play rook b1, threaten b4, something like that. Yeah, I think there are probably some classic games you can find in these type of structures. So I remember there was one sort of classic Petrosian game which had like a structure like this where white played knight e5, f3, and later on prepared a move like g4. Played rook e1 and prepared g4, and actually won very easily. So maybe that's the reason why I don't really have a good impression of this setup, because of that Petrosian game. Yeah, I can't remember who his opponent was, but yeah, I definitely show my students that one quite a bit. So, okay, castles has been played. What else? Yeah, and obviously later on white will try to make use of that e5 square, but we'll see whether she'll be able to make use of it, or whether black will be getting her play quickly. Because maybe black can try some sort, and should try some sort of g5, g4 ideas. I don't know. I mean, it's really the only way to justify this f5 move, so I think you should have to go for it. Okay, anyway, let's move on to the next game. So here we have another classic line. Bishop g2, b3, double fianchetto. d4. This is a very, very standard stuff. So as I understand, usually black is playing for e5 in a lot of these positions. So I'm not sure whether these type of ideas are, yeah, it's apparently the main line, as I can see, but you know, I think this is probably quite usual play in these type of lines, e3, and then black can do whatever he wants. He can play like rook e8. At some point, you can think about playing e4, or you can take on d4, and it's quite a standard position, I think. But okay, b6 is also normal. Okay, knight d2, and now white is clearly preparing to play e4. I'm not sure what black can really do about this, because he's not really in the situation to play c5, because obviously, actually, is this so bad? Maybe it is pretty bad, yeah? Everything is hanging now. So, yeah, I mean, he probably has to play e5, but then I go into c4, and I think you're in trouble. So, knight d2, and she has to allow e4, which is not ideal, especially you're playing a lower rated player, but okay. I feel these positions may be very comfortable for white, but there is play for both sides. Yeah, there are games, for instance, there is a game by two grandmasters where black played bishop a3. Black was the stronger grandmaster and eventually managed to outplay his opponent from what I think is a slightly worse position. Yeah, I'm not sure about this d5 moves. It feels a bit premature, right? And after this, black activates, and yeah, wait, black won a pawn, so maybe it was good after all. But yeah, the pieces are a bit awkward now, and yeah, I think eventually black, white made some sort of blunder and black won. Yeah, couldn't defend that knight, and black won the game. Yeah, okay. So there is definitely play in this line, but I still would think that white is more comfortable, because I think it's all about whether black can really play c5 comfortably. And right now, I'm not so sure whether black can actually get it, yeah, because right now, obviously, he can't do it because there's going to be some discoveries on b7. But okay, that will be the struggle, and that will be what black has to figure out. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Another all Vietnamese. Oh wait, the previous one wasn't Vietnamese. There was one Vietnamese, but this is an all Vietnamese QGA e4, knight f6, knight c3. Interesting, very interesting. Did she think? She thought. She was thinking for 8 minutes. Because knight c3 is weird, because normally they always play e5 here, as I understand, and they play bishop takes c4, and it's one of these positions where there is a lot of theory here. You can go back to b3 or d3. Yeah, on the way black will play knight c6 and then try to put some pressure on the center. Yeah, for instance, if knight f3, there can be bishop g4, which could be a bit annoying. And if knight e2, then I mean you can bring the bishop out, play e6, and it's a normal kind of position here. Okay, but knight c3 it's a bit weird, and I think the idea of this knight, I mean I think the reason why he's really played knight c3 is that she didn't know what to do, because most of the time I think people play the move e5. Yeah, this is now the big trend. Yeah, there are a lot of games here, and then there are a lot of moves here. Knight f3 is the way, and yeah, now there are a lot of moves. Yeah, I've had queen d4 played against me as well. Bishop c4 is the main move, and it's one of these lines where black has sacked this pawn, but white has very quick play, very quick development, and objectively it's enough counterplay, and it's quite balanced, as are most QGA lines. But okay, knight f6. I don't know. I think she should have been more well prepared for it. And now black gets e5, and I would think this is a bit of a better version than in the other line. Now bishop c5 comes, and black is still well prepared. Bishop e3, but now black starts to think. And it makes sense to start to think here, because when your opponent has messed up a little bit, that's when you want to stop. Because you could, like, if you find the right moves, it's possible that you could get a very big advantage. Yeah, because maybe your opponent's already messed up in the opening. And I'm thinking, what happens after knight g4? That's the obvious question, right? And I'm sure she's trying to work this out as well. So obviously bishop can't move because the knight on d4 would hang. So that's out of the question. It's knight, don't know, it can move his knight back, but I don't know how. I could take this pawn, but I don't really like this, do I? F takes e3 and just castle. Two bishops, destroyed pawn structure. Surely black must be better, no? Or at the very least, you should be comfortable. Okay, so I think knight g4 is probably the move. It has to be the move, yeah, because I think if white castles, even a move like f3 could be interesting. And then he's preparing to take this, and now knight g4 is never an idea anymore. So I think black has to go knight g4 right now. But we'll see whether she does it or not. Okay, let's move on to the next game. So this game is, I think, another all Vietnamese battle. Yeah, lots of Vietnamese players here. They are very, very strong players after all. Yeah, I think they have like a proper. I'm not sure whether they have a proper sort of chess development, but they seem to do. They seem to have like a proper chess syllabus and all because they have very good understanding from what from my experience. And obviously there are a lot of young kids from Vietnam who are playing chess. So obviously, I guess inspired by a lot of their strong players. Yeah, not not least Super GM Lê Quang Liêm, who I think is their highest rated player ever. Okay, but okay, it's one of these interesting lines where, of course, the I mean the battle is this is almost sort of a King's Indian style. We're gonna play f4 and try to maybe create some kingside play, whereas black is trying to control the center of knight d4 and maybe in some cases push on the queen side or even to try to hit in the center with f5. So it's a position where there's a lot of play for both sides, and we'll see where this goes. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to from the ladies to the boys. Oh, we have a big matchup. We have, the latest international master of Philippines, Arca, against Bacoyo, another top Filipino youngster. So this should be very exciting. It's a Slav, a6 Slav, e3. Okay, it's one of the moves that are playable. You could play, for instance, c5. That's I think the main move. There's also a4 as an option, or you could even go into the exchange Slavs with cd5. But e3 is one of the moves for sure. And b5, this is the whole idea of black's play. Yeah, he's trying to hit that pawn on c4 and gain some space on the queen side. And I'm surprised white is already starting to think. Oh no, he arrived late. He did not start to think here. It would be very strange to start to think here. Yeah, c5 and yep, white has a normal position. It's h3 takes and black is going to play e5. One thing I realized about Arca is that he really doesn't mind giving up his light squared bishop. That he likes his knights and he'll often go for this bishop g4 takes f3 in many lines. In the Caro-Kann. I mean, it also helps that he likes to choose lines where you usually don't really need that bishop. So queen g3 is played and we'll see how this goes. So e5 is under attack. So black, I think, has few ways to meet this. One way I'm thinking of, I'm not sure whether this makes sense, is this. So my idea is to play e takes d4 and maybe exchange the queens this way. Yeah, because I don't really want to take on d4 that quickly, and I would like to force white, if possible, to take on e5, which is never going to happen, but one can dream. I don't know, I think it's quite an interesting position. Yeah, queen b8 is not the right way. What's the way? h5 is apparently interesting. I don't know whether this makes sense though. h4 and now apparently just knight takes c5, hitting this bishop. So it turns out, I guess, d takes c5 is not a threat. Not a serious threat, at least, because of knight takes c5. So it's not something black needs to worry about. Yeah, so maybe just like bishop e7, does that make sense? Yeah, I guess it's also possible. Bishop d2 and just castle like this. Yeah. And then we can decide what to do. Maybe to push on the queen side. Maybe in some cases to even push e4 or to take on d4. There's a lot of play, and I think this is the type of position that Arca is aiming for. It's got a lot of play, and that's what you want against a slightly lower rated opponent. Yeah. Okay, we have here a Sicilian. and it's one of these Paulson Sicilians. Bishop d3, d6, and yeah, white plays f4, and we have what I think is quite a typical structure for a lot of these Paulson Taimanov Sicilians. Yeah, black has got, of course, more pawns in the center, but white has got, I think, quite nice attacking chances, obviously, and he'll get very easy development. Bishop e3, king h1, later maybe f5 and pushing on the king side, or simply just rook d1. It's very easy and smooth development. Or even though black has a nice center, it's gonna be a little bit, you know, it's a bit awkward to push in the center. Does he push d5? Does he push e5? Yeah, but obviously it is a center pawn, so definitely some interesting play for both sides. Yeah, we're going to see how this turns out. So we have Dang An Min against Marian Glenn, who in the previous round missed a win against our Malaysian, talent, Kavin Mohan. So we have Rosalima, bishop d7, c3. c3 is interesting, because in my time, I think people were playing rook e1 in every game, and then it would be like a6 and they would go back to f1. And this would be the way they played this thing. And then later on, they would try c3 and hit the center with d4. That would be their setup. So this is actually quite harmonious. The bishop on f1 is actually pretty well placed, yeah? But, okay, c3 is clearly some sort of prep. Bishop a4, b5, and he's going for some sort of, e4, e5 setup. So if e5, he'll play I think he'll play h3 followed by d4. And, this is very much in the spirit of the Chigorin. Yeah, the Chigorin, the Chigorin variation of the Spanish. Yeah, so you play knight d2, rook e1, and knight will come back to, apologies for the horrible arrows, knight will go to f1 and maybe to g3 or e3. This is it. Okay, so bishop g4 is played. He wants to stop d4. This is clear. h3, and he wants to keep his bishop. Yeah, d3. It's a reasonable move. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure, because maybe can he go d4? And I'm thinking, you have some idea like this, so you have to play cd4 maybe. And bishop f3, gf3, something like this. This could be interesting. Of course, it's a bit double-edged because these double pawns, so... But maybe it was possible to go for this. But I guess he didn't like e5, and if d5, there could be knight d4. So, okay, maybe this is not so great. Yeah. g6, we can take c takes d4. Is it c takes d4? Wow. He says knight takes d4, apparently. And this is apparently very good. I don't really get why. I guess one thing is that it's easier to defend this pawn, and we don't run into knight b4 ideas. That could be one reason. We don't run into e5 ideas using the d4 square. And we could even think about doing this. Okay, that's actually quite a lot of reasons, to be fair. So actually this is quite a nice line here. You play d4, and yeah, cd4, we can play g4. Yes, not recapture. We can just play g4 like this, and then play knight takes d4. And then white is doing well. Okay, let's see what happened. h3 was played, and I think he played d3. Oh, there are a lot of moves now. d3. This is more in the spirit of the, the Chigorin. Yeah, the Roy Lopez Chigorin. Knight d2, e5, rook e1, knight f1. So this is the plan we were talking about earlier. Knight g3, and now white gets d4. This is very standard stuff in the Chigorin. Rook c8, and yeah, it's a normal sort of Roy Lopez position. It didn't come from a Roy Lopez, but it's a normal kind of position that you get. So the question is, should white play d5? It's always an interesting question. Yeah, so d5, first things first, knight b4 I think might run into trouble, because that knight might be, run off the board if we move like a3. Yeah, you might have to do this, but maybe I can, yeah, maybe actually knight c2 does come, so maybe this is okay. Yeah, can try to go into f5 still, but okay, maybe this is quite interesting as well. So yeah, I guess we'll see what he does. Okay, we have Nguyen Kwok Hai. I'm butchering his name, no question, but so I apologize in advance. But I like this line from both colors. It's one of these bishop b4 check variations. Queen c2 and bishop f4. This is very standard line. And knight bd2, interesting. So in my time, I was taught that you would play rook d1 here, with the idea that after bishop b7, you can play knight e5, yeah? And the idea is that here, black's best move is actually to play knight h5. And after bishop d2 to go back. Which is convenient if you are the lower rated player, because you can go back and say, okay, play for a win. And then black will have to take a bit more risk, yeah? I had one game where an opponent did something like, I don't know, rook c8 or something. Or queen c8, I don't know. Something weird like, oh, I think it was a queen c7. But, no, it was not queen c7, because you can take on d5. No, I can't remember what it was, but basically I had the opportunity to play e4, yeah? And maybe it was queen c8, and basically I had the option of e4 here, which is actually quite nice for white. I didn't do it and lost, but there is always this option that, you know, is worth keeping in mind. So, knight bd2. This is definitely a play for the win, I would think. Bishop a6, and now he's stopped, which is interesting. Perhaps he was mainly prepped for like bishop b7, or maybe some sort of idea like this, but I don't know. No, this would be really bad. So maybe he was prepped for some ideas like knight h5 and then back to f6 or something. But okay, maybe he was trying to find a way to win there. But of course, black is not going to, you know, go for repetition. So bishop a6 also makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So rook a c8. No, we can go something like knight h5 and maybe, you know, play rook c8 maybe. Because I'm thinking we don't actually have to play knight f6 back, you know, that quickly. So, you know, I think it's an interesting position with we play for both sides, most certainly. Okay, let's jump to Kevin's game, and as expected, there is no broadcast. Classic stuff. So, let's go to the last game, under 18. Ooh, c4. This is an interesting line. Knight c3. Oh, this is a mistake already. This is a mistake. And I know it's a mistake because I did this last year. And I lost in like 20 moves in a classic game. No, you had to play knight e7. Now, the trick in this line is that there is a very similar line here which goes h4. So if you don't know this, you can trick your opponent. And now c4, e6, knight c3. And here dc4 is actually okay. Bishop c4, and I think we saw this yesterday in some games where, yeah, I think it was Arka's game where white played, you know, knight g2, bishop e7, and after knight g3, the bishop simply dropped back. And it's very, you know, very interesting play for sure. And I think he played like queen b3 or something. I can't remember, some knight e4 or something. I think he played knight e4. Yeah, that was like the game. He played knight e4, knight h6, and he took on h6. And I think here he made a mistake and he played queen b3, which ran into b5, if I'm not mistaken. And here there was a really nice variation. After bishop e6, he played b4. And this was the idea, because it was something along these lines at least. And basically black won a piece and won the game. Okay, so this is the line. But it turns out that actually c4 here is just no... c4 here is a bit different, because now this line doesn't work quite as well, because white will get a lot of play on the king side very quickly. And this is very different from the other lines with h5, with h4, h5 included. So this is very much a worse version. Black needs to play knight e7, but he's messed up. He's trying to go for that line, and clearly he doesn't really remember what to do, but yeah, black is struggling a bit now. Knight g3 is correct, as I understand. Bishop g6. And yeah, I mean, there are different ways to play here. Can't remember how my game went. Did I actually go for this? I think I might have. But yeah, he plays h4. I guess I'm not sure whether this is still his prep, but basically I remember what happened in the game was h5 came, and it turned out that it's very hard to develop because white can go for queen g4 very quick. White can go for queen g4 later. And this will make it hard for black to develop this bishop on f8. And that was my problem in that game. Yeah, so there's something worth thinking about. And definitely, I think white has won the opening battle. But there's still, you know, a lot of play left if white wants to score a nice upset, because it's never easy to beat these kids. Yeah, this guy is like 2360, so obviously he's got some strength. Okay, let's move on. Wow, Queen B8 was played. So he did something very similar to what I suggested. I was suggesting Queen B8 right away. He plays Knight H5 first, so forcing the Queen back to H2. Is he forcing the Queen? Maybe, yeah, because Queen G4, maybe you can play like G6, and maybe it runs into some E4, F5, and the Queen is just very badly placed on G4. So, yeah, instead of that, Queen H2 was played. Sorry, it's a bit of a lag here. Queen H2 was played, and now black plays Queen B8. But the same idea, I guess black wants to take on D4 and then exchange queens, yeah? So, see what white does. Kind of interesting. Not really sure what white can do. Let's say castles, that seems like a reasonable option. Well, the first thing is, does black want to take on D4? That's the question, right? Queen takes B8, rook takes B8, E takes D4. My feeling is no, because now rook E1 is going to be a bit annoying, yeah? Like, for instance, bishop E1, we can go rook E1. If you ever move the knight back, I will have bishop F4 developing this guy in one go. And I think your pieces are a little bit awkward at this point. So I don't think you want to play E takes D4. Alright, so then what do? You have different options. You could definitely play G6, bishop G7, and castles. This makes a lot of sense because the bishop is going to put a lot of pressure on these center pawns. Yeah, I actually like that plan a lot, actually. I think the bishop is going to be good on G7. So I think castles, just G6, bishop G7, castles. And then later think maybe to play F5 or to play E4 or just rook E8 or something. Or to push on the queen side. There are of course different options there. Okay, let's move on to the old guys. The oldies but goodies. Yep. So we have on board 1 Grandmaster Tu Huang Tong. I will stop apologizing for mispronouncing these names. You can just expect them. D4, bishop G4. It's an interesting line. Knight D7, A6. And he just goes D4. Bishop G4 is actually kind of weird. It feels weird. Like, why not C takes D4? And then I guess queen... Usually they take on D4. This is the idea with the queen. Because after exchanging off the knight, white doesn't have to worry about knight C6 anymore. So he can just take very comfortably with the queen. And he's doing okay. But of course black has 2 bishops. And, you know, you can play normally. But of course it's an interesting position. But no one has advantage here. The bishop G4 is kind of weird, actually. So, yeah, it's not what they usually do. Try to think what they would usually... How would you... Like, why isn't this usual? Yeah? So, I'm thinking we can do this, but I'm not sure whether this makes any sense. Basically, I'm thinking we don't mind this sort of structure. We can just play like bishop E3 or something. And then just play normally, like H3. You know, we can play rook D8, we can play block, whatever. And then we just play queen E2, rook D1. And then some sort of, I don't know, A4, A5, knight C4. Yeah, I've always liked these structures for white, personally, because I feel like having this C4 square is usually quite nice for us. But I think black shouldn't be doing too badly. Still, I think this was probably the way we had to play if we wanted to say that bishop G4 is less accurate, because I feel like this is already kind of fine for black. He hits with D5. It's logical. I don't even think he needed to do that. Maybe he could just play like bishop E7, castles, then decide whether he wants to go D5 or E5 later. But anyway, this is fine position for black. Queen V6, and yeah, later it's going to go bishop E7, castles, rook C8. With an absolutely normal game. Absolutely normal. And he's also threatening to spoil the structure with bishop F3. So actually I think I might like black already here. Okay. So now let's look at the all Filipino battle. We have GM Joey 1 with the white pieces against Angelo Yang. Knight F3, and we have an Alapin, and a weird Alapin at that. Knight C6. Interesting. So his idea is to go for this line. which, okay, after ed5 goes back into the alapin. This is still an alapin line here. There was the option of e5, which would transpose to a French. Yeah. And after bishop d7, this is like the advanced French. You got bishop e2. It's very typical play, castles. There are even some lines with a3 looking for b4. But okay, ed5 is typical if you want to play the alapin, and knight a3. Idea being that if cd4, then we will have this knight b5 idea, and we will take back on d4. So usually this is avoided from black, and he does play knight f6, knight b5, and queen d8. And okay, it's one of those endgames that's absolutely, I think it's absolutely fine for both sides, but it's still playable. I mean, there's still a lot of play left in the position. Yeah, I'm not sure about allowing knight e4. That didn't feel that right. Yeah, and after this, I mean, this has to be fine for black, at least. Maybe even just comfortable for black. We can start by kicking this guy away. Yeah, because I guess white's idea is that he wants to kick our knight, followed by knight d6. But maybe I start with a6, I kick this guy. So that once you move, I can take on b5, yeah? So they say knight. So I mean, if you want bishop d3, I can take on b5, yeah? And let's say some position like this. Okay, I guess bishop c6 followed by knight e5 is a threat, so I have to play king e7. And okay, it's some position like this, which I think is quite interesting. You can play also other moves, like f6, protecting e5 and preparing some sort of e5. That's also an idea. But I like this idea, it's going straight for knight c4 and white. And I think black is doing well. So we'll see. And also, if white just drops the knight back, then I think we can do anything. We just go king e7, for instance, and bishop d3 is knight f6, and I think black is doing well here. Okay, let's go to the next game. We have Chao Shang, another Vietnamese grandmaster, and here we have a Queen's Indian, castles, knight c3, knight a6. Yeah, this is another interesting line. Try to play for a win. a3. This makes sense to stop knight. I mean, because in some lines there could be knight b4 ideas. I mean, not immediately, but in the future. So knight takes c4, bishop takes c4, and queen a4. Okay, it's interesting play. Rook d1, and white exchanges off that bishop on e4. But it makes sense also. Queen b7. I don't know, my feeling is that white's playing a little bit passively. It's logical what he's doing, but it's also, I feel, a bit on the passive side. Yeah, black is provoking his opponent to push some stuff, because black is trying to wait for white to do something and then to hit back. Yeah. So maybe he's waiting for, I don't know, e4. I'm not sure how he'll hit e4. Maybe d5 or something. But I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Maybe we can just take vice here. It feels a bit dry, you know. And then on e6, I'm not sure it's set useful. But okay. Yeah, and then we just develop our bishop somewhere like f4 or something. And I think white is doing okay. Alright. Let's see, what other games are there? Any other interesting ones? We have Asian chess president, Kasparov Chess Asia president Ignatius Leong. Obviously, big organizer in Singapore, but if you're hearing this, then please reduce your entry fees because it's so expensive. I can't afford to play them. Yeah. But yeah, his tournaments, somebody's laughing here. No, it's no joke. One of his tournaments was charging, like, for 1 day tournament, 180 Singapore dollars. Like, seriously, I can't afford that. Sorry. I'm not, I mean, I think only Singaporeans can afford that. Singaporeans and Swiss people can afford that. But other than that, I don't think many people will afford this. So c6, bishop c4, knight f6, knight f3. As far as I understand, Ignatius is he's the guy who likes to play this what do we call this again? Center counter gambit, right? Not center counter defense, not a gambit. Yeah, Scandinavian defense. Yeah, his pricing is very much Scandinavian pricing, so I can understand that. Yeah, gotta be consistent, right? Rook f8, knight d1, and What is this? He goes bishop c1. Oh, this is inspired play, I have to say. Inspired. He just king h8 and his bishop c1 like this. Ah, okay. This is interesting. I don't know what to say about this. This might be a broadcast error. It feels like the most likely thing that it's just a broadcast error because I don't really know what's going on here. Okay, now maybe let's go on to the next one. We have Robert Gibbons from Australia. And here we have a standard c4 line. It's interesting why black is not going for d5 here, because normally the whole point of black playing e6 is to go d5 quickly. So obviously he's okay. If black plays this, he must be okay with playing some of these IQP systems. Yeah, there is of course this big main line now, which is the Dubov Tarash, bishop b6, and I think they go castles and d4 and knight a4 castles, and basically white ends up in a position where he's going to be a pawn up. Yeah, but there is just full compensation here, and with basically any move black is full compensation. Yeah, bishop a6, c5, yeah, queen c7 even is played quite a bit, and most of the games here, and most, I mean, like 80% of the games here and in some sort of draw. But bishop e7 is almost allowing just d4 quickly, which I think this is what white wants. Yeah, because black's position is solid, but it's a little bit passive because it's hard to get moves like d5, b5 going, and it's also a bit awkward to set up some sort of uh it's awkward to set up some sort of a head chop, because I don't think this is the right move order to do this. So I think white can play very quickly some sort of bishop e3, rook c1, and you know there can be some issues in knight d5. So black has to watch out as well. His position can be quite dangerous, especially if it's not accurate here. Okay, let's look at the last game. We have Gatos Edmundo, who is he usually is the Filipino head of delegation. This guy is playing, but we can't see his game. We simply can't see his game, and that's that's what it is. Yeah, we cannot see this game. But okay, let's move on to another category. My screen is lagging, so I hope you guys can hear me well, because if my voice is as laggy as the screen, then I must sound like a 1,000-year-old man at this point. Uh, let's see what's going on. We haven't covered the under 16s this time, so we'll have a look. We have Shen Rihong, yeah, who is he's one of Malaysia's rising stars now. He's playing in the under 16 category. We haven't looked at his games that much, but he's on bot 3, so clearly he can't be doing too badly. He is one of the top seeds, so you can't expect him to do well. Castles, and we have a Grunfeld, cd5, knight d5. So yeah, this is typical. Normally they play d4 here. I mean, d4 is usually what they do. Knight b6 and then knight c3, knight c6, and now there are a lot of moves. d5 is what I played against Rihong a while ago. Yeah, I was better, but then messed it up and drew. There's also e3, which is another big main line. Yeah, it's a matter of choice at this point. But knight c3 is also sensible. And he plays c5. This is actually quite interesting. It's not what I was expecting, because my understanding is that these type of lines are quite, comfortable for white. Like knight c6 and you go bishop e3, something like this. With the idea that, okay, after move like bishop d7, I feel like, especially against a higher rated opponent, yeah, this is a line that's actually quite decent, yeah? And you actually have a game here, Karpov-Ribli. Yeah, I'm not sure whether you can find it. I can find it, but it's a very classic game. Yes, I think I just found it. So there's a classic game. This is game Karpov-Ribli, where Karpov actually won this game very, very easily. And so Ribli didn't play that accurately, but he didn't play that inaccurately either. And before he knew it, he basically cannot move anything. He's in total zugzwang everywhere, and it's just really the king. Yeah, it's total disaster. So there was, of course, this famous game, which if you don't know, you probably should know now. But okay, I've always felt that even though black is obviously fine here, it's a line that's very comfortable for white. So I'm surprised that he's done c5, because I would not have done it. But opponent is playing a3, which is interesting. Yeah, I don't think it's the right way to play. Queen c2. Okay, this is definitely not the right way to play. Yeah, I'm thinking even just bishop g4. Yeah, so we want to take and play knight d4. This already seems just wrong for white. But okay, knight b6 was played, d3, and yeah, white goes for bishop e3, and black gets knight d4 in. And this is actually, I think, quite decent situation for black because it's one of these positions, that you can get from this line, but black is up a lot of tempi because white has been moving back and forth. Queen c2, queen d1, a3, knight d2, knight e4, and that just doesn't seem right. So I already like black's situation here, especially considering white has no clue how to play this position, which definitely helps for black's winning chances. Yeah, it's much easier to win when your opponent knows nothing about that position. Yeah, because of course that's how chess works, right? Because he may be 1900, but he may not be playing at 1900 in that position. Whereas he'll be playing at 2100 in another position. But speak of, interesting positions, we have this v5 line. a4, bishop v7. So we have this Nakamura line, a b5, a6. It's called the Nakamura line because it's a big favorite of GM Hikaru Nakamura in Rapid and Blitz. And the line goes something like this. You go bishop d5, and basically you have to watch out because if you go back, then it runs into knight b4 or something. No, it's still okay actually because the rook takes a8. But I think the line is you go back to c3, knight e4 or something. Yeah, there's some sort of knight e4, some sort of c5, and it just leads to a position where, white is, nominally better, but objectively it's just a draw. So this is an interesting line that you can definitely look at. Yeah, some typical plays, something like this, and yeah, it's a pawn up, but that pawn is kind of hard to convert because black's pieces are very active, and eventually in this game it's just ending in a draw. All right, let's move back to the game. So knight c3 is played. This is obviously trying to play for a win. Rook takes and knight takes b5. So this guy probably knows some prep here. Yeah, that's why he's gone for this. Bishop d5 and black plays c5. Yeah, there are games here, so clearly white is prepared. dc5, bishop takes c5 and b3. That's an interesting move. So obviously there is a pin here, so black cannot just randomly take that pawn. That being said, it shouldn't be an issue for black, I think, if he does this correctly. The question is how to do it correctly. It's always the question in chess, no? Hello, we are just looking at this position. Yeah, we are joined by someone who promised me he would be here like 3 days ago, and is finally
3 days ago.
yes, 3 days ago, and has finally showed his face. Okay, welcome Rohan to the stream.
Thank you.
Okay, we have this line.
Okay, very topical. Wait, who is playing this? Which age group?
This is an under 20,
Okay.
which makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
You don't expect the 6-year-olds to come up with this. Yeah.
Yeah, very topical.
Imagine that, I'll be like, this is kindergarten chess now. But no. Okay, he plays knight c3, so I think this is quite topical as well, yeah.
Yeah.
But I haven't checked this line in a while, I'll be honest with you.
Yes.
I probably should check it now since I've already said that on stream.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check it now. Just said it on stream. I can't like leave it like that, no. Yeah, but I don't know what's going on. b3. He wants to take this pawn.
Yeah, it looks like white has something.
It does look like that, but these positions always look like white have something, no?
Okay, but
Like
this
these
one,
knight 6 lines.
how do you save c4? If you don't save c4, then
That's what I'm trying to figure
Unless-
out. Like,
is
how
that
do you
queen
save
c8?
it?
Queen c8.
I was thinking of that, but I was thinking, do you even just do like bishop d6 or bishop takes b8? Because obviously now you can't take, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can't take because obviously this, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's gonna be bishop f2.
Hmm.
But I was thinking, I mean, it doesn't feel right, no?
Yeah. Bishop d6 looks.
It looks very,
Okay,
no,
now
it looks kind of tempting.
Pix is over. You have to play like rook d8 or something.
Yeah, it's very bad. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, rook d8 maybe you survive, but
Yeah, maybe.
but bishop b8, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first thing I thought of, bishop b8, but
Wait,
how
c2?
much is this?
Bishop b8 c blue.
Then do I have like queen? Ah, you have this or something. Is it?
Yes.
That's kind of cool. Oh wait, can I go to c3? No, like queen's protected. I have knight e4.
Yeah. Knight e4.
Still knight e4.
Starting to feel like it's actually theory.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Because there are actually games somewhere here, yeah, and b3 is the first game that's deviated. Because
Okay.
those players are going knight c3.
Okay,
So
so I
clearly
saw
this
bid
has
it,
to be fine, yeah.
so yeah, has to be fine for black. Probably
Yeah, let's see. Queen c8 is bad.
bad.
What? Because of vc4? Ah, you just got rook c1? Or... But then bishop b5? What are we missing? I think we're missing something simple.
c4.
Because he's not here, yeah?
Bishop b8, bishop b5.
Yeah.
And then there's even bishop f2, right?
Yeah, it can't be that. Right? Right.
Yeah.
What can it be? Knight d6? Maybe.
Knight d6 is-
Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, that looks really good. No. Not knight d6. Okay, that's easy. I should have seen it. But knight d6, why doesn't this work? Takes and... Oh, this is nice. This is very nice.
Yes.
Only move, yeah, to survive.
Yeah. Complicated stuff, but if this doesn't work, then it's actually a pretty good practical try from white.
Yeah,
Black has to figure out a lot of stuff.
yeah, he has to figure it out over the board. Yeah, it's not easy. It's already been thinking for like 10 minutes, which makes sense.
It wants to play queen b6 for some reason. And it's not
Yeah, but
immediately
isn't
clear.
this a pawn?
Yeah.
It's just a
And
pawn.
then it just wants to claim compensation. So this is not easy for white. It's actually pretty good from white. Although I see from the time he hasn't been blitzing. It's probably not opening prep. It's pretty
Yeah,
good still.
I mean he was blitzing until somewhere here, and I think b3 was his
Okay,
somewhere here. I think I have a feeling this was his prep, but he didn't prep it for this game.
yeah.
So he was trying to sort of remember it, and then somewhere here he just gave up on remembering it and just wait. Okay, let's
Yeah.
go b3.
I mean,
Yeah,
the engine says it's pretty good.
or maybe it's still
Why
his
is it
prep.
such a big plus? Has black gone wrong somewhere?
It's a good question.
Yeah, but it's not bishop c5. The move is
That's
queen
interesting.
a5.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Knight c3 and take it off. Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah, so bishop c5 is kind of wrong. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's still not easy. I feel like even such a position like
Okay, if you
it's going
find-
to be hard to
yeah.
win this. Yeah.
If black finds queen b6, which he has to find first, then yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, I mean it's really tempting to just do this and lose on the spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like bishop c4, knight c7, and oops.
Yeah.
No, I would just resign. Okay. Let's see what else do we have. We haven't seen the top board, I think.
Vietnamese battle. Black is better. Do you want to continue with the engine or?
No, let's turn it off.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Some
H3.
topical
Okay.
line.
Queen c2.
Wow, I'm not even allowing bishop f5. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, he doesn't even allow this thing
Yeah.
here. But I mean, it makes sense because obviously this is a bit of a line, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's might be the main line if you play h3 actually.
Yeah, it is because you can't go to g4, you have to go to f5, yeah. And then they go like e6, bishop d6, yeah.
Yeah.
And then some cases they go queen side. Most cases they go queen
Quite
side
interesting
actually.
position.
It is. I like those in black actually, but yeah. As I understand, queen c2 is not that dangerous also. Yeah. But I can't
Okay,
remember
but
why.
it's interesting.
It is interesting for sure. Knight e8.
Okay, that it feels.
It feels
I mean, feels weird. I see
he
that
wants this,
the knight always.
obviously.
The
Yeah.
knight kind of belongs on d6 anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, fine by black.
Yeah, I think it's okay. It's okay.
Oh,
F6.
Oh, f6. I don't like f6, bro.
It's very double-edged, yeah, but oh, just give me a second.
Yeah.
Nope.
But yeah, I don't really think f6 really leads to anywhere ever if you just plays rook e1.
Yeah,
You're
I don't
never
think it can
really
get
getting
e5,
e5,
yeah.
but then you've weakened your position.
That's true. I mean, it's going to be hard to play e5. You're gonna have to like what do this
Oh
or
yeah,
something,
I mean,
which looks completely artificial, right? Like, you're
yeah. At
gonna
some
figure
point,
that
White
out.
can also play c4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a typical idea. Like once he goes back, I think it
yeah.
would be the time to.
Black's wasting so much time. He's weakened
Yeah,
his king. Just open up the diagonal.
yeah.
Okay, but what happened in the game?
Okay, white played queen e2 and black
Queen
got
e2.
e5.
Queen e2 is like
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird.
it's like a chess sin. I don't even know why. Like you
Yeah,
could develop with rook e1 and do the same thing.
yeah, exactly. No, I do it that way. But his idea was to do this, yeah,
Hmm.
and this. Oh,
Okay. Because I'm
was
assuming they calculated everything.
I
But
guess so. Was there any option to bring the bishop back? Or there's just bishop f5, yeah.
yeah.
Yes, this doesn't work. So it has to do this, but
Okay, now black
the
is
pieces are
better.
very nice, yeah.
Yeah, black is better.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, let's see
So something
what
went
have we
wrong
done?
here
Like
completely. I think queen e2 was wrong, but would rook e1 run into e5 as well?
maybe
D e5, bishop e5, and this idea, right? This is his idea.
yeah. Bishop g7 now. Rook
Rook
d3. I
d3.
mean, it's definitely a better version.
And with the rook on e1, no question. But is it good? Is it better enough? Because we need to have a move here,
Yeah.
yeah? I don't see a good move, actually.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, yeah, it's actually not too bad, but definitely in black's favor for sure. So this
Yeah.
is definitely not right.
Okay. Wait.
Okay, so rook e1 is probably not
Then I
gonna
might
work.
have to eat my words. Maybe f6 was genius.
Maybe, yeah.
Um,
Does it make sense to drop back?
but then he gets
But then
e5
he
anyway.
will get e5 always,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're just forcing e5 here.
Yeah. What is
What
supposed
did
to
white
do?
do? White played bishop f4.
Yeah. I mean,
That
what
just
could be
gets
more
messed.
natural than bishop
Okay.
f4? Maybe you had to play rook e1.
Yeah, but I feel like
But who doesn't play bishop f4?
if you play bishop f4, you can't be like suddenly worse. There must be something here.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Maybe c4. c4 immediately.
I don't know. Okay, firstly you can run into this, right? And immediately you lose the bishop.
Yeah, okay. Wait.
So I don't like that.
Yeah.
If the queen was on d1, I like c4 a lot more, I think. But yeah, I'm not sure like that. What can we do?
Not easy.
Maybe I have to just allow e5. And then just play that. Yeah, but I don't like it.
Also, I see the clock times, so white still had. So black was still blitzing here.
Yeah, it might still be prep.
Yeah, this is prep, but white was also playing fast.
Yeah, and
Until
then he
queen e2.
stopped.
So f6 was new.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
new for him.
Mm,
I don't know what to do.
yeah.
If I can't play c4, then I just
Yeah.
and in rook e1 and queen just run into e5. What am I supposed to do? Bishop b5?
Knight e8
That doesn't
f6
feel right,
was
no?
really impressive prep by black.
I don't know. I feel like this is quite topical. This line, right? This line is quite topical for
Well,
white.
knight
Like queen c2 is not so common, but
yeah.
it's the second most played move.
I
this
mean,
line,
it
so,
says knight e8 just 3 games, and then
yeah,
in the database, then knight e8. Let's see what does white play.
he was
White-
bishop f4 every
yeah,
time.
and then
And
f6 is a new
is
move.
completely new.
So yeah, it's a novelty prepared by black, which is,
Wow, this is very nice.
and I like the novelty as well.
Let's see if
Yeah,
computer approves. Best move.
yeah,
Better for black after f6.
yeah. So bishop f4 is some,
So rook e1 was
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
and then here if
F4.
f6, I guess e5 doesn't come with
Yeah.
power, so it's fine.
Maybe you just ignore it and then later just take in bishop g5 or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm still not sure about that. Maybe he still ends up going f6, yeah? Yeah, I'm still not so convinced about this.
Yeah, I mean, but it's an interesting position.
Yeah,
Love this prep from black.
yeah, for
Very
sure.
nice.
I will probably save that for some of my games in the future.
Yeah.
King g7. Okay, black probably won't win this, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
some
his
work to
pieces
do,
are just getting
but
more
yeah,
and more and more active.
practically it's very
I
tough
think
to
also
do.
like White's demoralized, right? Like his position sucks and everything. Yeah,
Yeah. Also, Black's higher rated, so
yeah.
that's
Reminds me of
applicable.
a certain game. Yeah. And then after the end of the game, somebody said "good game"
Yeah.
and made the other guy very angry. So that was that is giving me that sort of vibes. Yeah.
Mm,
Okay. What other games do we have? Should go to another category.
yeah.
Should go back to I know. She's a. Oops, this is the wrong one. Whatever. We'll look at this one first.
Okay.
No, we have this A6 Slav. I'm looking at just now.
Okay.
C5.
Yeah. Mm, kind of
Yeah,
an ambitious try from White, right? If I remember correctly.
yeah. This is one of the ambitious lines. Queen G3, Knight H5, and Queen B8. Interesting.
What is this?
I think he just wants to maintain this pawn because I don't think he really wants to take right, but then he doesn't really want to play E4.
Yeah.
So I guess he just wants to maintain and then go like G6, Bishop G7 or something.
Yeah, I was more talking about this Queen G3
Yeah,
to
that's true. That's
this
true. It's a bit weird,
thing.
but he was playing relatively quickly because oh yeah, maybe he was not. But no, because he
When?
arrived late for the
Yeah.
game and
Oh,
then started
okay.
blitzing.
Yeah. So
He arrived like almost 10 minutes late and started
for some
blitzing.
reason he thought for Queen F3, so it's
Yeah,
considered
it's weird,
GF.
no?
GF.
Is that a thing?
I'm not really sure why.
Why would you do this?
Yeah, to me it looks weird.
It looks very strange.
Yeah, but okay.
I would probably do it
He
instantly.
takes, and then he played Queen G3 kind of quick.
Yeah, I don't know.
Knight
The
H5,
time management is a bit
Queen
weird
H2,
for sure.
Queen B8,
Castles,
castles, okay.
G6,
Which
G4,
very sharp.
and F4. Wow.
Okay.
He's going for it, yeah?
I wonder if he wants to sack if E4. Okay, Black did.
he,
E4.
he didn't. Oh, he hasn't played yet.
Yeah, so he's thinking about it.
Ooh,
Bishop E4. I mean,
that looks interesting.
yeah, I think you do consider Bishop E4.
Yeah, I think so too. But does it really work?
I mean, the position is so close, you don't really. Probably Bishop E7, Black castles, and then puts a rook on E8.
yeah.
And
I think the thing is you can't play F5 without trading queens.
yeah,
That's the problem. So if we need to spend one move, then black is just in time to castle.
yeah.
Yeah. And then once he castles, I think F5 so loses
Mm.
a lot of its bite. Yeah. So I think it's probably just drop back, yeah.
Yeah.
And what's his idea? Maybe F5 or something. I don't know about that. Because then if I play F5, then I can't move the knight. That's the thing. Because I have to worry about GF5, Bishop H5.
Mm.
A bit worried I won't be able to. But maybe I'll just go Bishop E7 castle. Then I'm fine, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe just that, yeah.
I think.
Although I will still have ideas like doing this, yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know, maybe
What do
I'll
you
start with the
prefer?
bishop first.
Who do you prefer in this position?
I don't know, I like white actually.
Mm.
I feel like white has more breaks. He can put the bishop to h4 easily and then h4, h5.
Yeah.
I feel black has a lot to worry about.
Mm.
Yeah, because I feel like white is just safer and has better plans.
Yeah.
That's my feeling. I don't think I would be very comfortable as black against low rated player.
Mm.
That's my feeling. I would be comfortable as white against a high rated player. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Nah, maybe not f5. What else does he do? Can you just ignore it and just go bishop e7? Because I guess I'm not really threatening f5 because you can trade queens.
Yeah, unless you prepare with bishop d2.
So I
bishop
guess
one,
I will
bishop-
have to do this, yeah?
Yeah. And then black plays f5, and then you start playing like h4 stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I think the bishop should try to come here, I guess. Then maybe f5 now. But then
H4.
but then h4, maybe he does this, yeah. Is it
Sure.
too much? I think it's a bit much.
Because black's queen is so far away, right? So I feel like white might be able to get something on the king side.
Yeah, but at the same time there is this in two moves after
Oh,
h5.
yeah.
So we have to get it now, right? So obviously we have to take.
Takes.
Pawn takes, I guess. I don't like leaving that knight there, but at the same time I don't think I can open the g file, so I guess
Knight f6.
we have to deal with this.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's a good point.
Because the bishop is kind of horrible on e1.
Yeah.
It's so bad here. I mean, we can try to come in, but I'm afraid that my queen will get stuck, yeah?
Okay, yeah.
Like, I could lose my queen. Oh, but it hangs
no.
c6, so...
Yeah. You can't lose c6, okay?
Yeah,
But
but maybe still this,
yeah, queen.
right?
Yeah.
We can still go to h6. It's not over yet. Ah, but now maybe
Yeah,
you
now
can go in
h6.
because I protected it.
Yeah.
And I'm coming. Rook f6.
Yeah.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
Okay, so
So maybe we have to be a
h4
bit more
probably.
careful with this.
Yeah.
I like h4, but maybe not now. Yeah. How do we prep it? Do we have to like try to improve our bishop somehow first?
I was thinking
But
like
I
king
don't know how.
h1, rook g1.
That makes sense as well, yeah. Yeah, I think we just don't touch this h4 and just do what we want.
Knight
And
f6
later
is
on
met
do-
with bishop h4 always.
Yeah, I think so too.
So
Yeah, so it's
black
not
has
an
to
issue,
find
yeah.
some waiting move. Or way to improve his position.
Yeah.
Which means I mean probably
Does
you
it
want
make
to
sense
move
to run to the queen side? That's a bit much, huh? But something like this.
sure.
I'm not sure either, but we're not ready to attack him, right?
Mm,
That's the thing. Because again, I think h4 runs into h5, right?
yeah.
And then once his king runs away, I'm afraid that it's just no attack. Because I think I don't see how I can open the queen side that easily, right?
Hmm.
Because if I play a4,
Well,
it
there's
goes
always
b4, a5. Yeah.
yeah. There's always like white playing b4, a4,
Yeah, I think that
takes,
has to be
and
the
then
way.
like maybe some sacks on b5.
Yeah, yeah,
So there is something on the queen side.
yeah, maybe. But I'm also thinking if black plays a5,
Yeah.
can we really break that one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the other thing. But I mean, we'll see.
this will be a long game, probably.
I still feel like I prefer white a little bit,
Yeah.
but I think black has definitely resources here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's come back to this when it gets more interesting.
Yeah.
Let's look at the ladies. We're looking at Aino just now. We started with her game. Her game is on the live video upstairs, so on my live video. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
h3.
Yeah. Some.
Yeah, and then she
Theory.
plays like knight e4 really quickly. I didn't really like what she did because she played knight e4 and then she played f5.
Is this theory or no?
I'm pretty sure it's not, yeah.
Okay.
No, but as I understand, it's not really that great to do that because there can be knight e5, f3
Yeah,
at some
okay.
point, yeah. And then this could, like, you could regret doing this. What?
What? Oh, bishop c7.
Oh no!
Wait, so is white just winning?
Oh no!
Wait, anything for
Winning,
black?
huh?
I don't think so, because you're threatening knight e7.
Yeah, it's gone with check, yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, there's not even any chance to be, you
Oh,
know, smart or fancy
That's a
here.
bad blunder.
Ouch. That's
Well,
painful.
tough to see, I think.
Yeah, that's just not good. No, because there have been some people who have asking me to take take her games to mostly the Johor guys,
Yeah.
yeah. And they're really nice people, so
I mean, it was an
I have-
unfortunate blunder.
yeah,
Very-
and they
very
will
easy
be
to
very upset with this. I mean,
Yeah.
assuming she loses because I don't see how she doesn't lose it.
Yeah, okay, white has
Like she's playing a
everything.
higher rated player, White has like, yeah, White has the material and the compensation.
Yeah.
That's what they say, right?
Yeah,
So, let's move on to the next one. I can't watch that. It's too sad. It's too sad. Okay, so this
Yeah,
one
this
is
looks
at
like
least a
your
little bit.
territory.
Yeah, it's a bit more competitive. This one, e4, d4. I was looking at this one just now. Bishop a3.
Okay.
No, I was saying that White is comfortable play,
Yeah.
but it's about it's the c5 break, right? Always. So can Black really get that? And right now it looks like it's
F4 is interesting.
F4, yeah. It's an interesting idea. Knight takes c4, and I don't know. It seems like Black's getting c5.
Yeah. And with F4 weakening
Yeah, I
white's
know,
position,
right?
it might...
I'm not really sure about this.
Well,
F4
here
move.
C5, that's D5, I think.
It must be, right? Because
So, it's not... White still has, like, some control over the position.
I was thinking, can you do something like this and move the queen? But I'm not sure. So if you do this,
Yeah.
I'm worried about some d6.
Okay,
Actually.
so let's say Queen F8.
So yeah, maybe queen f8. Yeah.
For argument's sake. Now,
So we want to take now. Maybe move the queen.
Queen G2, ED,
CD. Surely.
this position.
I don't really. I can't really see much argument for knight d5. Feels like play for draw, yeah.
Yeah, CD.
So CD has to be the
At
way.
least black can't blockade on d6 immediately because of knight b5 stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, but
Mm,
so what's the idea? To take and d6 or something? Maybe.
yeah, try and run
Does an idea like this make any sense?
c4. Yeah, might be
I
a good
mean,
find.
I don't know. I'm starting to like black in these sort of situations,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Like the white pieces are all very loose and
Pawn on f4.
yeah. I mean, I might
Yeah.
play just h6 next move and then I'll be able to take everything, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. I don't know. I feel like black is doing well
Okay,
here
so
now.
c5.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, plays rook
black plays rook
d7.
d7,
I mean,
which is
in a
fine as well.
sense, there's also no real rush. I don't want to say that too early because
I guess,
later
but
white gets c5
yeah.
and then we regret saying that,
But
right?
also now you're always gonna be getting a worse version of c5 because bishop b7 forces the rook to b7 instead of the queen on b7, where the queen would actually be good on b7 controlling the long diagonal. The rook on b7 is just bad.
That's true.
Mm,
Maybe her strategy is just to delay c5. Maybe she just wants like, oh, but now she's threatening to take,
yeah,
so you have to react to this.
yeah.
So it's possible to trade this guy for the d4 pawn, but okay. Firstly, there might be a back rank issue. I haven't checked that yet. So
Something
like
like
something like this.
takes.
No, there isn't.
That
I have.
might be a knight d5 thing. Knight
Yeah,
d5, does
that
that work?
could be an issue. Yeah, that could be a pretty
I think
big
it's
issue.
something that black could have missed as well.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Okay, I guess black doesn't lose on the spot. Yeah, it's kind of dodgy.
Takes. Uh,
Yeah, I mean this is nothing, and if you do this, then I think it's also nothing.
I'm thinking about
But it
like
feels.
take everything. So take on c5,
Yep.
take on d4,
Okay.
and then knight
Uh,
e7, knight c6, rook d7. No, the a7 pawn is
A7.
on. So rook d7 to hold everything,
Yep.
and now
Okay.
rook d1.
And then just come with the king.
Yeah, and knight e5 even here just wins the pawn
Right.
clearly.
Okay. Somewhere something went wrong. Then can I do this actually?
Okay, knight e7 and
Knight
clear by
A7.
one pawn.
Yeah, you have knight b5 back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going knight b5 back against everything. So yeah, I think that's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So black shouldn't do this, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's check that. Let's check that. Is that right?
Yeah, takes,
Yeah, takes is correct. Takes is
takes.
correct. What? He says knight f6 straight.
Knight
This
f6.
is good enough, by
Yeah,
the way.
this
This is
wins
good
the
enough.
pawn.
Rook d6 is best, and knight a7 is still really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah. But
But
knight
apparently
f6
knight
is
f6.
interesting.
Yeah,
Why?
surprised. Why is this so good? Maybe it's
King
just your idea. We just bring the king. Yeah.
Okay.
And then this pawn is it's just hard
Yeah.
to defend. I just do this, and then I push my c pawn b pawns.
Not all rook endings are drawn apparently.
Especially not this one.
Yeah.
No, because I think my pass pawn just goes.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And your pass pawn is it can't move my king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So queen
So that
g2.
means,
Oops.
well, I want to see how long did black take for rook d7. So rook d7,
5 minutes.
5 minutes, and then after
Hmm.
queen g2, she's thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he has to consider whether she wants to. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure her plan would have been to play rook d8 counterattack,
Yes.
but then now she's gonna be seeing this knight d5 thing.
Yeah. It must be.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe she's regretting her life choices now.
Yeah. Rook c8, and okay, White's gonna try and grind.
Yeah.
Actually, rook c8, maybe even f5, to try and weaken black's game.
Yeah, for sure. No, because you want to make this f4.
Yeah.
At least justify it, right? A
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah. I'm really liking white now, actually.
Yeah.
Is there any other way she could try to play? Uh,
Like
c5
c5 is still a
is
thing, but like,
so
yeah,
I guess we take now, right?
probably
Force
takes
the
and
rook there,
d5.
d5. This looks like a way worse version because after d6, like we're gonna be
Yeah.
targeting this guy, right? So you
Yeah.
can't really do queen f8 or something.
Yeah, this one looks.
And also, it makes no sense now. My queen's on g2. No, this looks like a way worse version.
Yeah.
Now, if she didn't play c5 just now, she's not gonna do it now, I guess. At least it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah. Okay.
This is strange. Maybe she has to go rook c8, but it's not very nice after f5. I
Bit
agree.
unfortunate for black. But
Yeah. Yeah, it's life. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's go see another game.
Another game. We were looking at this one earlier. So I think black was. I don't know what white was doing, but she blitzed here, obviously,
Okay.
and then stopped.
Stop.
It was like, why?
Is knight f6 a line? I'm not.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a big line.
Okay.
So it's like, it's a bit like playing the knight off,
Yeah.
facing the bishop c4 line and then stopping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
Is
can't.
it like one of those things where white has a few options like e5 or knight c3?
As far as I understand, white always plays e5 here.
Okay.
That's what
And
I
then she
understand.
didn't.
Like you always go for some sort of position like this, and as far as I understand, this is what happens. Like there are games from the 90s. I remember seeing like games in the Kramnik book where he was giving this. Kramnik my best games.
Okay.
Back when Kramnik was still a sane person. Yeah, and he would give some games here or something, and some nice wins from white.
Yeah, this thing looks a bit familiar. But okay, she played knight
Yep,
c3.
like c3, e5, and yeah, I think somewhere here she messed up a little bit. Bishop c5 and bishop e3, and then black stopped. So black was blitzing, and then she stopped.
Okay.
Because I guess she saw knight g4, and of course she did it, right? What else
Yeah.
do you do?
Knight g4.
Bishop c4, and it looks kind of nice for black, no? Because you can
queen d6
always
is
take
nice.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can always take on it on e3, yeah. Takes and this is nice, no? You get a knight to e5, it's what you want, no? These lines.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good
so what?
opening by black.
Yeah, black has won the opening battle, but he has to he has to win the game 3 times, right? That's
Yeah.
what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah. Maybe
Bishop
bishop g4, maybe
g4.
bishop g4, bishop f3. Like do
It's a
something.
lot of-
And then like rook d8.
Yeah, probably queen f1 and rook a8.
Yeah.
Feels very comfy, no?
Okay, this looks kind of bad. But yeah.
Yeah.
Knight d3 is coming, rook d2 is coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice for black, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I think black's gonna win this.
Mm.
I think it's not a bad prediction. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
She's playing way better in this game. She may be lower rated, but she's completely outplayed her opponent.
Mm.
So okay, the Arca game there was f5. No, he took on e4.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, we need to go back
told
to
you
this
he was
one.
thinking about it.
Yeah, he must
no,
be
but he
right.
took with a knight. Okay, that makes sense to
Because he was
practice.
sitting there for like 15 minutes, yeah. If he was not, he would play bishop in2 in like 10 seconds. Okay, took with a knight. Now, I was thinking about it just now for a brief second when you said take on e4, but I was like, it can't really be, right?
Okay, f5 instead of starting with queen g2. And then
And then he doesn't take, he just goes rook c8. Oh. My first thought is he doesn't want to trade the queens, let's keep it. Right? Like queen g2 or something.
queen f2
Or
maybe.
queen f. I was thinking queen f2, maybe knight. Yeah, maybe queen f2 is okay or something. Queen f2 makes sense, of course.
Some
Take.
threat.
I forgot what I
You're
didn't
gonna say
like.
knight
Maybe I
f6,
think it's
right?
fine. No, actually, no, I forgot what I didn't like here. But actually, now I'm thinking maybe it's pretty good after all.
Yeah. Okay, queen f2 and what?
I want to take, right?
Yeah, what
So-
is black to?
I'm thinking you might have to take.
Oh.
I think this is why I didn't like that I had to take with the g pawn because I can't take,
Can you?
this because I can't take queen f5 because of queen g3.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I wanted queen g2 actually, but
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe this is still
G5.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still quite interesting. I know it looks weird, but this maybe.
Hmm.
So now f6 is stopped. I want rook g8,
Rook g8 is coming. Mhm.
and then once the checks start to come, the knight is gonna jump. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this.
Okay.
I
so
don't
maybe-
really like this actually. It's kind of good for black now.
Yeah. Maybe queen g2?
Maybe. So at least I am able to take with the bishop now.
Yeah, but then you don't
But now
have
I'm not
threat.
sure. Yeah, I'm not threatening fg6. That's the thing.
bishop e7.
Yeah, maybe just that. Yeah.
Develop.
What can I do? I always have this, but it's way slow, huh? But okay, we have 2 pawns for the knight,
Yes.
so it's not that we're not that much down.
Mm.
But I think the big problem is that after he castles, he will have moves like knight f6 kicking our stuff back. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm a bit worried. Or maybe he just goes knight f6 without castle, so he can use the g file.
Hmm.
Either way, I'm not
Okay, this
liking
position,
this.
I guess we already have to start trying to evaluate it instead of calculating.
Start to evaluate it.
How do you evaluate this position? I don't know.
That's the question.
Probably, like, imagine the position with bishop d2, bishop e1, bishop g3, and then you see that, okay, white's pieces are all kind of active. Probably you're gonna say it's enough compensation for a pawn.
If I get if I get 3 free moves for white, yes.
Okay, so let's say bishop d2, castles bishop e1, and then bishop g3 is coming
I'm
back.
thinking I actually should black castle. Because I like that idea with knight h5 just now. I think can I do it anyways?
Yeah.
Does gf5
So
make
you want to play
sense?
gf, and then bishop
I'm thinking to
f5.
start with knight f6 actually.
Okay.
Because I think you have to keep this guy, right? If you lose this guy, I don't see how you can justify any compensation
Yeah.
for these two. So how do you keep it? Like
Probably
bishop
bishop
d3,
I was thinking c2, but
bishop c2.
yeah.
Okay, I was thinking I'll take here.
Bishop f5.
Bishop f5. So you want to keep that. If you have
Yeah.
to keep that, yeah. Now I'll have to take your bishop.
Takes.
Rook f5. Okay, it's
Okay.
interesting, yeah, because I can't.
Yeah,
I'm
when you
not
put
sure whether
Jack
castling
king,
is gonna be that.
maybe rook
not
f1,
safe,
bishop
yeah.
e1, bishop g3.
Yeah, actually, no, I don't really mind this position too much.
Yeah.
I think practically, at least, it's gonna give me some
Yeah, practically
chances.
it's okay.
Feels okay, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Interesting idea
I don't know.
by white sacking on d4.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure.
But I don't really think he's back there.
Is there any other option than bishop b7? So I'm thinking. But if I go gf, it's still the same thing. I would go bishop f5.
Yeah.
I don't know. So let's say castles. That was the I'm
Castles,
talking about.
bishop
Bishop
e1.
e1. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not sure.
And now already,
Yeah, I feel like once I get it to g3, it's
yeah,
I'm starting to like my position more and more. Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
I don't think I'm even really worse anymore. Let's see what he says. He thinks he's okay.
A little bit worse, yeah.
Okay, but it's getting smaller and smaller. It's like
Yeah.
0.2 and then it'll be 0.1 and then
Yeah.
before I know it, I won't be worse anymore. You see?
Yeah.
It's getting better and better.
Mm.
So maybe it's not all that bad. Yeah. See, its computer only likes it a little bit. Interesting.
Yeah.
He says this is fine. And he says take on that c7.
Because f6, knight e6.
This is really cool. Yeah, he just wants to box the bishop. Yeah, h4 like this.
Yeah.
So basically, if white can box it, then I think you're in trouble. So he says sack it back or something. He says sack it back like this, and then it's some sort of equality.
Mm.
And I was gonna argue that white's a bit better because of these pawns, but now I'm thinking maybe he's not better because of these pawns. Because
Okay, but bishop
castle's rook e8, yeah.
bishop
Okay.
d2, rook c1.
Okay, rook c1. Say rook e8 or something. Is this a better move than that?
I'm kind of threatening b4.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Maybe I go back, try to get this.
I mean, you're giving me c6.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I shouldn't do that.
I was thinking
No,
maybe
I was
rook
thinking to take
d8.
it, but okay.
Rook d8.
Yeah, that makes more sense, but
Oh shit. Yeah.
oh, but there's this. Okay, so that's not that. Yeah, then rook d8 is actually okay.
Yeah.
I was worried about bishop a5, but it's okay.
Hmm.
And maybe this is actually fine. Yeah. Maybe rook c1 is not right to let him take that. Does it make sense to... No. I was thinking start with b4, but then there will be c5, yeah. So, doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Hmm.
Mm. King g2?
Maybe.
Feels weird, but
But
I
then
am
then rook
stopping...
e8.
No, but then I have bishop a5.
Rook
You...
e8. I think
Ah, rook
e8.
e8,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Can I go rook c1 now?
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm. It's a bit awkward still, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so white probably some tiny edge
Maybe.
in the first position
Maybe
if
more
he
than a
takes on
bit
c7.
tiny. Is king g2 okay? Apparently, yeah, it's rook a d1
And king
apparently,
g2
which
is
is
one of the
weird.
moves.
But king g2 is weird. Yeah, rook c1 is not... It's not that good. And neither is king g2 apparently because of this.
That's fine. I mean,
Still hitting this, right?
yeah.
It should still be a bit better for me,
Okay.
I think. Okay.
Yeah. White has
So,
faced the
okay, this is
weaknesses.
actually really cool. I'll just take like that. What did he do? Oh, he just played bishop d2.
Yeah.
Interesting. So
Okay.
none of the other...
Kind of makes sense as well.
Now black takes, which makes perfect sense, yeah.
Yeah. If
I don't...
now if white takes, then black
Then
can just
exchange the
queens.
queens instantly. He'll do it in 1 second.
Yeah.
He won't even write the move. You just like... Yeah.
Yeah.
You just grab it without writing. Yeah. Okay, so what's white going to do? No, it doesn't make... It doesn't work. You just take, yeah.
Takes bishop e1. Funny thing is, if you move the queen, then there's bishop a5.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's this.
And bishop e1 somehow covers queen g3. Like everything is working for this.
That's crazy.
Okay, you can try moving the rook, maybe.
Maybe I run to
But
c8,
like,
b8. That rook
even
a8.
a4, like looks interesting.
I don't know. I mean, you have a lot of pieces down, no?
Two.
We got two
But
pieces down.
but like, black's pieces aren't really that great. White's pieces are active.
Can I give one back? I'm trying to think how to give one back.
The thing is, when you
This.
give one back, then you're losing g7 at the end, like DC bishop c5. Oh wait, you
DC
want to
I'll
exchange
take.
queens.
Ah, but maybe you still have comp here. Yeah, rook d1 is
Yeah, rook
coming.
d1.
Oh, it's the full piece, but it's still comp, yeah.
Yeah.
How much comp? How much comp? It could be a lot, but I'm just curious how much is it?
Part of me wants to play AB, but it
AB,
might just
I
take
think
up
I'll do
b5.
this, yeah.
Yeah. Very sad. I can't make you take back on b5. And b4 is too slow, like bishop g7.
Yeah.
Bishop c3, then rook g8.
Yes. Actually, how bad is that AV line?
AB, bishop
Check.
c5.
I was thinking
Check.
like some BC6. Zero
Check,
D7.
but king e8 though.
Yeah, true. So maybe I'll do this first.
Oh.
I don't
So
know.
take on e3.
I don't know. I'm not sure whether I believe this myself.
Hmm.
I'm just trying to find something that would be decent for white.
In this position, we are down a piece for 1 pawn.
Yes.
Our c6 pawn is maybe worth a little bit more than 1 pawn. Our rook on f7 is worth a little bit more than a rook.
Yeah, but it's temporary, right?
Okay, but
Right. Like if black starts
has
to
to
try
do
to
something.
exchange them. Yeah, this is a good start, I think.
rook a7. No, but rook a7, there's rook a7, bishop a7, rook a6.
Yeah, and then rook a8, yeah, it's coming. Yeah, so maybe not rook a7 right away. It's true, it's not so easy. Rook f8, we hang this guy. Huh. Okay, so what can black do? I don't like that. I want to get rook a7 really bad. I do it without hanging that pawn. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, probably white is worse, but it's not easy. White has compensation. But okay, we might be getting ahead of ourselves. Maybe that was a simpler.
Maybe there was. Maybe this is still simple. Maybe if it's just like h5 and black is winning, then
Maybe.
something like that. And
Yeah, because white can't really attack well.
is it winning? Let's see.
Mm,
I now have takes and I f4 threat. Yeah, I guess. So the attack I think needs to work.
I want to play rook a4, but doesn't work.
Yeah, HG is coming too fast.
Yeah.
I don't see a move. Rook d1 king c8. Check also king c8. I don't see it. Let's see what engine says.
Slightly
It says
better.
it's okay here.
Yeah, okay.
Rook a4 is your move.
Yeah.
HG and
Rook
oh wow, just take
and then
like this and then
you're
just
forcing
hide
a
on
piece,
h1. Yeah, and then it's support. Yeah.
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 Okay. Looks like
And if
we
knight
can still
g5, there's rook
evaluate
b7.
positions.
Yeah.
Only.
Yeah. How bad is this really?
Yeah, so it's not that bad, you know?
Yeah.
And rook a8 is accurate. So yeah, okay.
I wouldn't be surprised actually if now seeing it's like -1.
Yeah.
If this is actually, less bad than queen h2 endgame.
Mm.
Yeah. Let's see what he says. Nope, he says the endgame is okay. Oh,
Takes
okay.
and gf.
What?
But
Okay.
This one is. Okay, this happened in the game or what?
Yeah, as far as I can see, it happened in the game. Rook g8 was played.
Yeah.
Why does he like white so much? He's saying something like king h2. Like he wants rook g1. I'm thinking I get knight h5, get my bishop out. I get knight f6. So my pieces are really, really nice now. So I'm trying to see what kind of comp we can even have for this.
So
But I
like,
mean, modern engines don't care about comp. They're like, oh, material down and just play.
yeah.
And then somehow it's okay.
For example, we have some bishop f3 idea. I'm not sure if we can start with bishop a5, but let's say bishop f3 immediately. Knight f6,
Okay.
e4.
Yeah, that's true.
You start like pushing in the center.
That's
Yeah,
true.
actually, let's keep the
Maybe.
bishop on d2 and do this. Knight
Yeah,
g3,
yeah.
there's rook
Rook
g1.
g1 is an issue here.
So knight f6 is more or less forced.
Yeah, but then you get e4. Yeah.
Yeah, this knight especially.
No,
has
I don't
e4.
like this. I don't like.
I was
this.
thinking the other knight going to f6.
Yeah.
But then
But then
again
again,
e4.
yeah.
At least you will have knight d5 at the. But you can see how white might be for choice. Like white has a lot of space. He's only like 1 point in material down. There's always a4 as well to open up the queen side.
That's true.
So yeah, I think white has potential here.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll see how this turns out. Okay, maybe we move to another one. Okay, this one is the Rosalimo. It's weird. I don't know about your time, but in my time, people were playing always rookie one, and then doing
I've
this.
seen this rookie monster.
But okay, this guy wants to get a Chigorin so bad, even
Yeah.
after his
I
opponent
thought it
plays.
was a 1 e4 e5 game.
I know it looks
Yeah.
like those, yeah, those Typical Spanish stuff, no?
Okay, you
But
got
he wants to get
Chigorin, but
yeah,
bishop is on h5. Might be
yeah,
something for. Oh, bishop g6.
yeah.
Feels wrong. I'm not
I don't
sure.
know. But he's not going to take on F3, right? See,
I
like
thought that's what
without
you do
really?
because the bishop g6 is so bad. But I'm not sure.
No, because I'm thinking if you take, then white just takes back, and then he doesn't play d4. He doesn't really care about that, and then we prepare some sort of f4 later.
Yeah,
I don't
true.
know.
Sure, so.
I feel like those that should be quite comfy for white. Because at least here it's like it's kind of interesting, yeah. In fact, I think the computer likes black, yeah, somewhere here.
Yeah.
I think he wanted to take on d4 or something, which is another typical Spanish idea, yeah. And then I think he just take and then rook c8, and he liked black a little bit. It's nothing, of course, but you know, I think, yeah. Okay, rook c8 was played anyways, and knight b4.
Okay.
Black plays a5. I remember the computer also liked this, say wanted queen c7
Ah, yes.
with knight c2, yeah.
That's a nice idea.
Yeah,
By
I
the
think,
way,
yeah.
is black ready for choice? Like after bishop b3, maybe.
Uh, I'm not sure. I think it was complicated. That
Oh no, white is
no,
better.
it's
Okay.
better. Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe not here, but okay, a5, and he takes on b4. Okay, he's going for that pawn. Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. Pawn hunting. Bishop c2.
Yeah, but it's gonna be hard to take
Oh,
that.
knight 6. It's
Ugh. It's
ugly.
not the move you want to play. Yeah,
Yeah.
but how to defend that pawn?
And black still has the problem with the bishop g6. Just
Yeah, that's true. Maybe this was good. Yeah, just grabbing b4 and forcing black to go passive. No, the more moves are being played, the more I like white's position.
yeah.
Just
I
go
mean,
rook c1 now, and then what's he gonna do? Go rook c8, hangs b5.
yeah,
Knight
maybe
c5 will
go
be
back
played,
knight c5. You
certainly.
need to bring back the knight.
And
Bishop e7 would love to be on b6, but
yeah, for sure. It's gonna be hard. Maybe I guess rook c1, right? What else are you gonna do?
rook c1, knight c5.
Knight c5, and let's say you go back.
Go back.
And maybe just try to target that b4 pawn again.
Okay, b3. Let's play.
Maybe, yeah.
Don't let it become a target. And now at least there's
play,
some
actually.
like harmony. The knight on c5.
Okay, but that may be b4, yeah, right?
b4 as well.
Okay, maybe this is a bit too much.
Something
It's
has
a bit too much.
gone wrong. We need to
Okay.
contain black's position here.
Yeah. But knight c5 is coming, regardless.
Okay, what piece can we improve?
I'm trying to think if we can do anything with the knights, but I don't see how.
Also, I'm not sure if h4, h5 was necessary. It's kind of might be a weakness somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, here.
Maybe I have to do something with the knights. But how?
Yeah, that's what my thinking is. Can we play b3 to just stop this idea of black playing b3? Okay, he's playing knight d2.
So this is it.
I guess
He
stop thinking about
He does stop me.
But yeah, okay,
technically.
yeah, very nice.
And
Very nice play by black.
okay, knight c5.
Okay,
Surely, right? He's gonna do that.
part of me wants to. Okay, I was gonna say part of me wants to just play rook c1, but the bishop pair is quite a lot, and black's always having bishop g5 to activate.
Yeah,
That's the downside of playing knight f3, knight d2. They're not controlling the g5 square anymore.
that's true.
So yeah, now. Yeah. Bishop c2, bishop g5 is a likely continuation.
Yeah, but I feel like black is doing well here.
Yeah, I feel.
He's doing very well here.
Maybe we can check at the computer, but I feel like
Okay,
h5
it's not better, but
conceptually.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay, black.
It's
Kind of
doing
equal.
well. Yeah.
Black maybe slightly.
Was there ever any chance here?
I want to check before white play h4, h5. Like, to me, that was a weird idea. Okay, no. It's like the third option. Second option. Somewhere around there. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah. It's not.
But I wanted to play bishop f1 like prophylactically.
Yeah, that would
Oh
have
yeah,
been
and keep
good,
the
yeah.
queen on d2 so that the knight can't move from a6. I think that was key.
Yeah, that looks good.
I'm curious why the computer is suggesting rook c7, rook b8 instead of rook c7. Like
Yeah, I'm thinking that too. Because it can't be like Queen E2 or something, right? It's too weird.
a4.
What?
It's a
Okay,
move that's
this?
very hard to see for a human.
Yeah, it seems really strange, right? Because we were targeting that pawn and the computer's like, exchange it up.
Yeah.
Which is not what you think, right? When you look at a
Okay.
weak pawn.
But somehow, like with the rook on c7, it's hard for black to
Yeah.
challenge.
I think also this pawn is just in
Yeah,
trouble with
yeah,
Queen A5 coming, yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So that's why he had to go rook B8 so that that pawn is not in trouble. Right,
Yeah.
okay. Well, the A4 move is really cool. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe queen
Because now
e2.
A4 doesn't make too much sense now, right? Because
Yeah.
B5 is so well protected. Yeah. You were saying?
Yeah, maybe queen e2 is a
Queen
slight conceptual error.
E2.
I'm not suggesting queen e2. I'm just saying
Oh, you mean,
that
yeah.
that might have been where white lost some grip. The
Yeah.
position.
Oh, here, you mean.
Yeah.
What was the way? Could he still play A4 or something? Or he still had to go bishop F1?
Yeah, just do some
Maybe just
waiting.
bishop F1 and then he's still threatening this A4, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We need to. Yeah, because there's always this knight C5 now, which
Yeah.
he wouldn't have if the bishop was back, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let's move on. Oh, we haven't looked at this one yet, I think. But this one also. Oh no, we saw this one. Bishop F4, V6, Knight D2. I mean, I was just saying just now, right? Like, if you're so much lower rated, it's actually not a bad line.
Why?
Because the best move after this is to do this.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And then you just do this and okay, let's draw, let's draw.
Yeah.
And your opponent's just sitting there fuming like, what do I do? Because otherwise I think you go knight c3 and e4 quite quickly, yeah? That's
Oh,
like,
okay.
and then white gets a nice position. Either that or you take the draw now. Which is not appealing if you're a high rated player, I guess. But I feel like black has got kind of, I was gonna say kind of what he wants, but then suddenly e4. So maybe white is the one that's got what he wants.
Oh.
No, the more I look at it, the more I like white. Queen a4. Ah,
Okay,
to take
okay,
that.
no.
Okay.
Black is fighting.
Yeah, it's fighting. But
Okay, wait. Now isn't black what
okay,
choice?
e4 is hanging now. Yeah.
I
So
see the
it's like-
e4 pawn weak and a lead in development for black.
These lines are tricky. Yes.
So I
These
feel
lines
like
are very
black is
tricky.
better. Slightly.
What do you do about that pawn? That's the first
Exactly.
thing, right?
I mean that's knight g5, which
It
also
has to
attacks
be, right?
f7.
I guess. Knight g5. That's what he's thinking, I guess. He's thinking
Yeah.
takes rook c takes d8. So maybe this could be a bit annoying.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
if,
maybe it shouldn't be done, yeah.
if
Okay.
c takes rook c takes d8, and then
Yeah, that
knight
looks better.
g5, there's h6, I think.
Yep.
And then okay, you don't want to play knight h3. Okay, this position. Still what's the is like roughly equal in development. And black is attacking something.
Yeah. I mean, the key is that e4 pawn, right? Can we protect it comfortably?
I mean you have to
Because if
play
we can, I think, then we should be okay.
you have to play knight d2, which looks very suspicious.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Feels like things are hanging everywhere, no?
That's like bishop d6.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Because if you play bishop d6, rook a d1, that's g5.
Yep.
So it's a
The
very
threat
nice
is g5 after bishop d6.
Yeah.
Bishop e5 or
yeah,
g5?
bishop e5, and so
And if knight c4, I can take it and play knight e4, right? As far as I can see.
yes.
Although we have to watch out for knight c6. Okay, let's say bishop d6. Is there any other move than this?
You can move the other knight to c4, but then there's knight d3 in the
Yeah, it looks
Okay.
way worse. Yeah.
So this knight
it should be this, yeah.
takes.
Knight e5. Okay, I have to take.
Okay,
The
probably
option.
bishop.
Bishop feels like the not natural one. Start with this.
Bishop, knight.
This one,
Yeah,
because
this one.
otherwise
Yeah.
b4,
And I don't
and
think knight
this
c6, rook d7.
rook
Just
d7. Okay. Yeah, I don't like this
yeah.
for white.
Mm.
I like it for black for sure. There was no way here, yeah. F3 doesn't work. You just go back.
Yeah.
So this doesn't work.
Yeah, a bit unpleasant for white.
It feels like more than a bit unpleasant, no?
Yeah.
It's a bit unpleasant, I guess, if white finds the right way.
So rook cd8
If
would be
not,
a very
it's more
disciplined
than
find.
he played rook cd8.
Nice.
It's a problem now.
Wait, has he played? I don't think so.
Yeah, it's here. It's
Oh, okay,
updated.
okay.
Played rook cd8.
Yeah. Okay.
Ugh.
Very disciplined from black.
I don't see how to save it. See what the engine says.
Yeah.
He doesn't see how to save it.
Yeah, once b4 and just sack the pawn. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't believe.
Black is gonna grind
Yeah.
this. Black is
Yeah.
also again high rated.
Yeah,
So.
I remember I was working in 4 Mini and he was I remember once I suggested a move like this and he was like, no, this I don't believe. I don't believe.
I also don't believe. The engine is going crazy when he gets a worse position.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. No. This somewhere somehow something went wrong here.
Yeah, like
Maybe this was a bit too
no.
optimistic to do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So C4 is probably fine. I don't know if E4 was working.
Yeah, this happens so often in the Catalan when you get these positions where you trade the C and D pawns, and then white ends up with an E4 pawn, and it just becomes a weakness, and it blocks the bishop on G2.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. E4 DC4 is a underrated response.
Yeah.
I would say. Because mostly, I mean, when you see the 1500s play that E4 and then the hand just reaches out and grab the E pawn right away. You know, they don't even think about it. But a lot of times DC4 is, I mean, it's often actually better than D4.
Yeah.
So, like C4, CD4. Maybe somewhere here he had to deviate.
I don't know because
But
rook
I don't
C8
know
is
how.
common.
Yeah. I mean, you could go. No, I was gonna say knight D6, but I don't really believe in that either. But what else to do? I mean, firstly, it's a pawn though, so. No, the more I look at it, the less I believe in this idea. Maybe this whole E4 thing was just wrong.
Wait, go back before E4. What was it suggesting?
He's suggesting
Okay.
E4. Interesting. So E4 is correct. And he's suggesting D5.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but then ED5?
Yeah, I couldn't see a follow-up, yeah.
Knight D5.
Knight D5.
Ah, rook D1.
And just play like this.
So it'd be definitely prep if white played it.
I think these are correspondence games.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's more like it's more like a prep. It's more like, you know,
Yeah.
you check it with your engine, then send it, you know, through whatever ICC. What do they call it? Correspondence chess thing. I don't know what they call it.
I have no idea.
Yeah. ICCF or something. I don't know what they call it. But these correspondence games are good to prep. Although I don't think I would want to play such a position as white. I don't know. I think that's the thing about a lot of these bishop before check lines. Yeah, if you're not careful, it just gets pleasant for black.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to know your prep in these lines, I feel. And that's why I think bishop b4 is so popular. Yeah, it's such a good line. Bishop d6 was played. He found it. Bishop d6.
Nice.
Well, okay, this guy is very strong. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we expect that. I think he's an IM already.
Okay.
He was 2-4 live. That's why I know. Not live. He had it published. I remember he had it published like I think last year or something. He was 2-4. So obviously a strong player. Okay, what else have we seen? Chahaya Satria Duta. No, you know these players, they make me feel old. You know this Chahaya guy. He's an IM now. The first time I played him was 2022, and he was 1800.
Wow.
It was a rapid game, and I crushed him. And now I don't know. He will probably crush me. Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm still pretty decent. Yeah.
Okay, looks like quite a good game by both. Like everything.
Yeah, I mean it looks very decent. What he's done is take c5 and c4.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I like this actually. Yeah, because then it's gonna be really hard to defend that pawn. No, I like what black has done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the structure, everything is perfect.
Hmm.
But okay, still needs to wait. Bishop b4.
Just protecting the bishop with tempo.
Rook. Oh, you can't play rook e4, so rook hangs. No, I was like, what do you allow rook
Hmm.
e4? F1 is hanging. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't do this. Yeah. So
Rook b1, a5. I think.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah. No, yeah, I like black for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. No, but I think that key was at c5, c4
Hmm.
idea. Oh, we were looking at this one. He played knight f5.
Knight f5, but that's
I guess he didn't like his options, so he's like knight f5, whatever. Let's maybe bail out a position like this.
no,
Yeah,
no.
maybe.
I think
You don't believe?
black is quite like black is really for choice here. I think like even just knight
Really?
e4,
I'm not sure I'm so enthusiastic. I mean, surely black is comfortable, but
knight
for
e4,
but really for a choice, I mean,
rook
not sure.
c7.
C7.
I'm gonna put the bishop on g5. Like I would wish the bishop could be on d4, but it looks kind of hard to get. But and at least the bishop on e7 and g5 it covers the f6 square, so white can't attack on the king side.
Yeah.
I play rook c7, rook c8, and then that's controlling the c file.
So I thought I could play f6, but the thing is that even if I get my queen here somehow, no king f8.
Yeah,
And what do I have? A queen h8, king e7, and I don't have anything.
yeah.
So I don't see where the attack is actually, right? No, yeah. Now you're now more I look at it, yeah, I actually like black. Yeah. Although I'm not sure it's that easy.
I mean, I'm not saying that black is winning or anything, but black has like a very comfortable, stable slight advantage that he can grind forever.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Mm.
I think. Yeah. Oh, and especially as a low
Yeah,
rated player, this is what you want,
yeah.
right?
By the way,
It's
I
the
think
dream with black. Yeah.
yeah, rook c5 might have been a bit more accurate than rook c7 because then bishop d3 doesn't threaten the b5 pawn anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah,
And also, I guess also you don't have to worry about rook c1, c6.
mm.
Yeah, in some lines. So yeah, rook
So
c5 is
probably rook
definitely
c5,
better.
bishop d3
Yeah.
is a line, and then let's say rook c8, queen e4, bishop f6. You'll probably get this position.
Hmm. Also, after bishop d3, you can take here, no?
Oh yeah,
So I don't even know whether you can get bishop d3
oh yeah, yeah. Very
or get the bishop away. Maybe you have to go rook b1 first. But then I go rook c8, right? Yeah. And then this feels like, I don't know, it doesn't feel right.
mm.
Like, yeah, it's like, even if you get f6, it's like, it's nothing, right? Just
Yeah.
take it. Yeah, okay, yeah. If I can't play f6, then obviously I'm taking black. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. I feel the players are playing well now. Oh, this was the guy who messed up the opening. He messed up the same way I messed up in just last year. Exactly the same way.
Okay.
So he got tricked by the move order because this is line, right? You play h4, h5,
Yeah.
and c4, e6, knight c3, and then the main move here is you take like this. Then my opponent played c4, and I was like, oh, it's similar, right? I played e6, knight c3, oh, and I'll take. It's not. It's not the same. It's completely different because now without the move h4, h5, it's a bit awkward to develop the king side pieces. Yeah, because you can't develop knight h6, which you could with a pawn on h5.
Mhm.
You don't get to hit the h4 pawn with bishop e7. So these little things that would give you a decent counterplay, they're not there. So it's really hard to actually place your pieces now. Yeah, h4. Uh, I'm not sure about h4 now. This is transposed to that line.
But now you can't get the knight on h6.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's the key, right? They wait till knight e7 and then play h4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea. Bishop g5 and castles. And
Knight 5, okay.
knight e2.
A little bit strange.
Yeah. No, he wants knight f4, yeah? I guess.
Yeah, makes sense.
And like just allows knight f4.
Okay.
Okay.
Then
First thing I guess we need to look at what happens after this. Probably loses by force, but we still need to look at it.
Bishop
There's
h4
take and
knight
bishop
g6.
e6 and
Oh,
things
knight,
like that,
yeah,
yeah.
something like.
Maybe
Yeah,
just
probably
knight
bishop e6
g6. I
is
don't know which
stronger.
one is better. Both look, yeah, okay, this is really strong because it's knight g6 hitting
Yeah,
everything.
fork.
Okay, so knight h4 loses. And what other moves are there? You can take d4. That would be a nice pawn to take if we could. Problem is I don't think we can,
Queen
right?
d4. Is that just bishop e6?
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Or take
Yeah.
on e6 and bishop e6.
I don't know. Bishop e6, bishop g5. What's happening? Because f4 is hanging.
Yeah, then I play in
Oh, knight
knight
g6.
g6.
Yeah, fg6, then hg. Okay.
Yeah, okay, that looks good for us, yeah. Okay, so no queen d4. Ah, then what? Bishop g5, hg5 is just bad.
Hmm.
Because you still got the same problems, right? Haven't solved anything. Maybe you could do that and play knight e7. Maybe. I still don't really believe it, but I don't know what else you do.
But takes
Ah, but
knight
I'll have
g6.
knight g6. Yeah, that's the issue.
Oh man.
The more I look at it, the more I love White's position now.
Yeah. What's the
I
live
love it.
position? Is this?
It's this, it's
Oh,
this.
okay. Yeah,
He's been thinking
this is
for
tough.
ages now,
Tough.
like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Oh no, he didn't do this. He didn't do this. What move could it be? I don't see any move, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if the engine can do better.
Okay. Apparently.
The engine doesn't believe us. He says do this, and if this,
Takes, and chill. Amazing.
and he just says you
Okay,
can,
light
you have
square.
a yeah knight d5 everything. King
Okay.
h7 even just start to hit. Okay,
Yeah, I can believe.
so I don't understand the Caro-Kann. That's no surprise there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so bishop g5 is the queen d4 is also okay apparently. We're saying this, right?
Yeah.
Takes, takes, takes,
Takes.
fg6, hg5, and king e7.
Mm,
And then black gets rook d8. I feel like it's still more like white now after I drop the bishop back, and then I have knight e4, f4.
even bishop f5, g f5, f4, and then just like claim you have the protector passer and some tiny edge.
Yeah, but I'm not sure do we really have a tiny edge there, right? Like, I guess maybe this is our idea, but can we really get anything with that? Like, he plays rook d8, yeah.
I don't know. I would have thought that maybe like you just bring the king and
Bring the king is like this. Interesting. So I guess black probably should shore up this.
yeah,
Make
king
sure not
e2.
there's no 6 king e2.
And okay, we get like some knight endgame where white can try and have some winning chances. Probably black will hold.
It's this like it's because black also has this queen side stuff, yeah.
Just
I agree, it looks very nice, but I don't know, is it objectively
take rook
anything?
d1.
Yeah.
I don't think it's objectively anything. I'm just saying that practically. I think
Yeah,
if someone's
maybe.
gonna win, probably white. Unless there's king e6 here, actually. King e6, king d2, knight d5, knight e2.
Yeah. And then maybe you want knight d4.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to c5, but what else to do? Yeah, maybe you could say white's a little bit more
Just
comfortable.
a tiny.
Yeah, a little bit more comfortable. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, bishop b3, and even this looks quite nice for white, but the computer doesn't believe as expected.
Okay, I have to be going now.
Okay,
But, yeah.
it was nice for you to join us. Yeah, that's International Master Rohan, for
Yeah.
those of you who are wondering.
Have fun.
Yeah, sure. Enjoy your time here. Yeah,
Thank you.
good night. Yeah, sure. See you around.
Bye.
Okay. And so I think we should take a quick break after this. Yeah. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in about 10-15 minutes time, all right? So yeah, see you in about 10 or 15 minutes. Alright, welcome back, guys. So there have been some developments in the I Know game, and I think we definitely go straight to them. Yep, yeah, sorry. As I was saying, there are some developments in the I Know game, and we're gonna go straight to them. Yep. There is a game of catch going on, so my apologies for that. But we're gonna go straight to the game. Okay, so you can see big changes in the position. So what's happened is that, well, we last left it here, right? Where white, I mean, white was simply a pawn up. Black made a huge blunder. There's no other way to put it. It was a huge blunder here. Knight takes d5, and yeah, just very unfortunate. And there's really nothing to do. It's just the free pawn. And we're saying white has the, material and the compensation. Well, white played b5. Surprisingly, I was thinking white should just do like queen b2 or something, and that. Okay, I think white would be doing well, but okay, b5 was played, and now, yep, c takes b5 and a takes b5, and white has black's got the pawn back, and here white plays knight g3. Oof. I'm keeping this. Ah. No, I'm somehow involved in a game of catch. I don't know why. Oh, we have a Filipino master here. Do you want to join us, Mr. Rick Portugalera? Yes, I know because I lost to you last time when I was a kid in Bangkok. Do you want to come? Yeah, come because we want your insight on some of these games. Come. We already have got Efren, we have got Joey, Antonio, we've got everyone on the stream, so you need to come. Yep, it's on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. This is our Malaysian player, and basically what happened is she lost the pawn out of the opening. Yeah, now come and have a seat. Come have a seat. Yeah, she lost she lost pawn from the opening, and then her position is bad. It's very bad. But what to do? Yeah.
She's white or black?
Yeah, she's white and she's
Oh,
black. She's black, and she
this
played
is
knight
something.
d7.
Yeah, that one.
Free pawn, huh? Oh no, this is so bad. Yeah, bishop d6, and yeah, now she's struggling. But then opponent played a bit strange because it's so winning, right? I was thinking why she don't just play queen b2 or something,
Pin.
and she played b5.
She wants to destroy the first bar constructor.
Yeah, I don't know. She let him take the pawns.
Then pin.
I thought she was going to pin. She played knight g3, but okay, if I do this, is it so bad? I'm not sure, right?
Knight d7.
Knight d7 maybe, yeah. Try for
After
bishop
that,
d5 like
yeah,
that.
then for,
Maybe this is the way.
yeah.
I don't know how do we do this here?
If capture check, then capture the pawn on b7.
Can I do this? It's very dodgy, I know, but I'm trying to survive.
Capture.
Okay.
Then knight b6. There's a rook protect. No.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to put the rook there, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I need to step up knight f6, right? I don't know how else to do that.
Or knight c5.
Maybe, yeah, just knight c5, simple.
Yeah.
And then we probably get this one, yeah.
So for
Bishop c8, I think there must be a win. There must be a win, yeah.
I
How
think
how is
white
the
is
win?
okay. If
Where's the win?
three, that's still not.
Yeah, I know.
It's still
I
not
was like,
possible.
surely it's finished, right? But then I don't see the way. It's
Right?
strange.
No one, okay? No, Alan. Jill? Alan, you stepped on it. Yeah.
I was thinking f3, but you're in time, no? You're playing king g7, and
The king just.
it's fine. Where's the win? Where's the win? Because if you're not fine, I go v6, right? And then once I kick
I
you,
think this rook,
this rook here, yeah. Okay. b6,
then knight d3.
knight d3. Can I go back? You want rook c6? No, but is it so bad? I have rook d6, right? Maybe it's not so bad, yeah? So I'm thinking this, maybe I can block or something. Something like that. But I mean, it's unnecessary, right? Why you go for this? Like, look at the position. So winning any move, and then he does this, yeah. It's like, it's not necessary to do this, yeah. Knight G3, she put. She want to take that pawn.
Is this the position now?
And no, the position is down there, she's one material. And then she played Knight D6, which I'm not sure about actually, because she wanted to keep that pawn, but now I think this was the problem, yeah?
Yeah.
Because now there is no rook D8. That's the problem.
But no knight now here. Only one knight left.
Yeah,
Is this the position now?
yeah, this is the position. So I don't know, maybe she shouldn't have played Knight D6. I was thinking actually can he play F4 or something.
F4.
I think she'll probably lose one pawn back, but at least it's some play, yeah?
Yeah.
So I feel.
Knight H5.
Yeah, probably. And what move we can play? I need to deal with that bishop b3 thing, so maybe I should
Yeah,
go to
bishop
d8, yeah?
Bishop B3.
Bishop b3, I block it.
Check. I still can.
Oh wait, can I? No, I don't want to throw in, yeah? I guess I don't want to throw in. I don't know whether I want to throw in f3 actually. Maybe not, yeah? It's still a fight, yeah? It's still a fight. Yeah, but after this, I think she lost, yeah? Because now you cannot stop, yeah? Knight f6. And now she lost. Take and knight f6 finish.
This one.
I think it was like lost, yeah. Let's see what the engines
Because of
say, whether they agree on
the
with
black
it.
has to pass for.
He think he's lost anyway. Wow, this is interesting. So bishop e3 doesn't work, yeah, because of just bishop e6, yeah. And there's nothing here. But knight g3 is correct, yeah. And knight f4, you just go knight h5. We're looking at this, and what's the move? Bishop b3.
No,
And
you cannot play A4 immediate. Instead
said
of
E4.
Bishop B3. E.
Knight takes d4?
No, E. Ah, yeah, there's a knight takes D4.
Yeah, that's why bishop b3 was very smart, yeah. Because after bishop e6, I thought e4 knight takes d4. But e takes d5, knight takes b3, d takes e6, and you take the bishop, yeah? So it's not working, yeah? e4, and yeah, if you do this, then we can do this. Oh no, we just do this. No, it's protected.
Yeah.
No, it's even easier. It's trying to be fancy, but no need, yeah? Okay. Knight d6, and then she lost, yeah. Oh, this is very sad. No, because this morning she's only 1800, but this morning she beat 2000.
Oh,
Yeah, she won a very nice game, and now she's going to lose. Probably. Hopefully not, but how will you
she's
survive?
black, right? In this position.
Yeah,
But it's still okay. Ah.
still okay.
Yeah, because they have 2 pawns.
Yeah, but no, but we have 2 pawns. It's a 4 exchange, yeah.
Still playable.
I don't know. This is coming. This is coming.
Yeah,
I think very quickly it will be not playable, right? That's what I'm scared. How to make it playable? Because if you do this, I have this.
The
Yeah.
pawn on A6, right?
Yeah, exactly. I cannot push it. If I can start to push, suddenly playable. Huh?
Yeah,
But I cannot push it. I don't even have this because always knight c4. Yeah.
yeah.
So then I'm stuck. What do I do? I have to move this guy to get knight c4 or knight b6. Yeah.
But the rook will
She does play bishop d5, but yeah, right now I think I just come. Yeah.
not
Ah, maybe he
C7.
plays this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. We just go in a rook c7. Is it so easy? Probably is. Yeah. Just go back. Everything hangs. This one
There's a knight on E5.
it's a very sad story. This one. It's a bit sad, but it's life.
What is here blunder?
Her blunder was earlier.
Knight
Yeah.
takes D5, right?
Yeah. It was so sad. She missed knight takes d5, and it's a easy blunder as well. Huh?
Yeah.
I think she was too tired from this morning because she had to grind a queen endgame
Yeah.
for like 4.5 hours. I mean, I would be tired as well, let alone her. I would be so tired. Yeah, and then it was over.
Then back again.
Yep,
Back one more.
yep.
Then this one instead of F4.
I think you
Because
just
you play,
Yeah, I don't think f5 was
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
F5 is.
I was very surprised. Like early on in the stream, we was saying I don't like f5. Maybe you should do like bishop f5
Yeah,
or
bishop
something,
E5 is okay.
or knight d6. Or I'm like d6. I'm not sure, but I like bishop f5. I just normal chess. Yeah.
I think rook A8 also is. I think it's too early to move rook A8.
I think rook e was fine, but I didn't know about knight e4 because
Knight
normally you
E4.
play knight e4 later with
Yeah,
a
if the
bishop on
bishop
d3
is.
and a bishop
Yeah,
on g5,
yeah.
right?
If the
That's the
bishop is
difficult.
E5.
But knight e4 here looks weird. This was the first moment I was like, I don't know, something seems wrong about this, yeah. And then yeah, and then here f5, and then
Or maybe
already I like black,
F5.
yeah. I already like black, yeah. But I mean, at least she should try bishop e6,
Yeah, that
And then later knight d7.
yeah,
As knight
that's
d7,
okay.
finish 1 second. Finish 1 second, lost.
Bishop E6 first before that
Yeah,
D7.
still playable, huh?
Yeah. I
But
think her idea is okay, knight E4, but not knight D7. That's the
yeah, yeah,
problem.
of course. Yeah, I still don't really like this whole knight e4 f5, but it's at least playable, yeah. But not this, obviously. Okay, and she's going to lose. You got rook c7 at the end.
Rook C7.
Yeah, rook c7 was played, yeah, at the end, and it was over. Yeah, knight b7, just go back, yeah, and then h7 is hanging. It's disaster. Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay, it's finished. Let
Result.
me look at someone else. Ah, you're Filipino. Yeah, she's she was playing very interesting chess. So she got a very comfortable position from the opening. She played this double fianchetto, and then she got a position that I think is as good as you can get from this double fianchetto, yeah, and very comfortable. Yeah? Can't play c5, rook a d8, and then f4, which is surprising to me because I was like, it's weird.
Prevent E5
Yeah, I guess that's the thing, yeah.
because the black wants to play E5 now.
Yeah, but I don't know. Even if let's say I play rook e1, if you play e5, I go. Okay, firstly maybe I
And
can
I
take,
can
yeah.
yeah.
But maybe even if I do this, for
I think take
argument's
is
sake, yeah.
knight takes knight.
Yeah, but even if I do this, it's also
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Like it's not like I don't know. But okay, f4 was played, rook e1, and she go back, and now yeah, queen d6 very strange. We thought rook d7 was weird. We thought she should play c5.
Oh,
Because here
immediate,
we
right?
had another 2300. Yeah, late earlier, and T was saying let's play c5. Yeah, e5 is some line like this, and it's weird, but I want to play d5.
After queen F8.
Yeah, I want to take, right?
Yeah.
Then we were looking at some lines like this. If cd5, I take, and then I get c4. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
take queen
because queen.
c5,
Yeah.
and I take this,
Mm.
and then later I can play h6 first, and then start to collect
I,
all this stuff. Yeah,
so black is okay in this position.
yeah. I like. I think I
After
prefer
C4.
black. Yeah, I think I want black. I don't want white. Yeah. So, but she played very strange, and now queen g2. It's what I want, no? Rook d3, rook d1, and
not easy to break the C5 now.
yeah, yeah, exactly because yeah, d7 is always hanging here, and yeah, she can never play c5. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Knight 4, I'm not so sure, but I mean it's okay. I think it makes sense. Yeah, I think black should have exchanged the knight. I feel.
Yeah, yeah, capture now that.
But she didn't, and then White said, "Okay, whatever. I will keep it if you let me." And then she played g4. Yeah, I was thinking, because she couldn't play g4 because this was hanging, right?
Yeah.
So that's why she did this, and then she realized now she will get g4, yeah. And
I keep on moving that knight, the queen C7, rook D6.
she doesn't know what to do. That's why.
The plan should open now the bishop.
Yeah, but she cannot, no. She cannot play c5, so she don't know
rook
what to do.
queen, then yeah, she can exchange now.
She wants to play rook d7, I guess, yeah.
This one now.
She can play c5, right? Maybe she's scared of some.
She can play now because
Why is
the
she
rook
scared
is
of?
queen.
Yeah, I'm thinking why she's not. I'm trying to think why she's not playing c5. Is she scared of knight f6?
Knight F6.
Knight takes f6, she takes f6, so she wants queen a6. Because I'm thinking why she play queen e7?
Yeah, queen
Must be
E7.
she's scared of knight f6, right? Otherwise, why she play queen e7? Let's see. Is this so bad?
Yeah, that's bad, I think.
The knight f6, yeah, I guess.
F6.
Knight f6, she f6. Okay, queen 6 is a big threat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you cannot stop, man.
No, cannot stop.
if rook d4, I just take on d4, yeah. CD4 and then I get queen h6, yeah. Oh no, rook d4, I just queen h6 right away. Okay, so it's a disaster. So knight f6 is a big threat actually. Yeah? So queen e7 must play, and then she renews. Okay, but it's not so bad now, right? Because there will be queen f8. But she still cannot play c5
Still cannot play C.
because she can take still and then knight
Yeah.
f6. It's the same problem,
Because
yeah.
the queen is not on B7 now.
This is actually very smart, yeah. She's not even thinking about knight f6. The knight f6 is just to stop c5,
Yeah.
right? It's the stopping with tactics, yeah. It's very smart girl. So
But I think this game is for white now. Bishop E4, Queen
I
H3.
think so.
Right?
Yeah,
Bishop
exactly,
E4,
yeah.
Queen Rook H3 now. That's the
How to
idea
stop?
that's the idea of Queen H4.
I'm thinking how to stop. You have to play f5 to do that, but you don't even control f6 enough.
Yeah, then there's
You
a
just take it,
pass-up.
yeah. And I don't even have anything to take back on f6.
Yeah, Bishop E4 is correct move.
Can I do this? This seems like our only chance, right? Something like this. Because
Then
if I
knight
don't do
F6.
this, I finish, no?
Knight F6.
Yeah, it looks very bad, I agree.
Then cap
And then this,
sacrifice.
yeah?
Yeah.
No, but queen h6. And then rook g3, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, this looks quite bad, yeah, I agree. Can I take this though? I'm a bit desperate, but I need to do something. Maybe it's not so clear.
Yeah.
It's not so clear, yeah. No, okay, maybe I should wait with taking. Maybe I start with this first? Is that possible? Because now I really threatening
Yeah,
to
that
take,
one,
right?
maybe.
Now I'm really threatening this. I'm really threatening that one.
So no move.
I cannot see a move, yeah.
I think that one is up. Winning.
Maybe he needs to try like this. But I don't believe. I really don't believe this.
Capture.
I was thinking to sack, but then fg6. Oh, and I just take on h6. Checkmate.
Yeah, checkmate.
Nice. Oh, that's nice. That's
Because
nice.
C5, no? Only C5.
Oh.
But she needs to move that C5. That is only like the
Yeah.
life of black. But
I mean, if h5 doesn't even work, then she's dead, yeah?
yeah.
Because this is the last defense, yeah? No? Most of the
Bishop
time.
E4, Rook H3. That's the idea now.
Because once the rook gets on h3, it's too late to play h5. So I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do.
Win? No?
It's tough this tournament, yeah? See all the players, they are playing well, yeah? They see the tactics, you know, they see everything.
Huh?
It's hard. Yeah. It's hard. Chess is hard. Chess is a... I think also like in this tournament, once you start to lose, right? The thing is that it's such a strong tournament. Once people see you start to lose, then they're like, oh, we can beat this one. And then it gets even worse. It's like same thing as the round robin, yeah. Like if you're in the round robin, it doesn't matter if you're the top seed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will try to beat you, you know?
Because this
It-
tournament is 2 games, so it's so
Yeah. As I always say, yeah, 2 games, if you have a bad day, you'll lose 2 games in one day. It's not like just 1 game and then finish. No, you can lose both, yeah? Oh,
your stamina should be like
like an athlete, yeah. What
you
is
don't have
this?
stamina, you're gonna lose this tournament.
I thought the knight was trapped, but I think he has one more move here. This one. How do you get here? It's how to protect the knight, yeah. Queen e6, rook e8 resign. Because the rook is protected. So, it has to be what? Queen b4.
Queen F3.
Ah, that's true. Good saying, yeah. Yeah, Queen f3. That's true. Should be Queen f3. Know what to do now. You will have knight c6 against everything.
C4 now? Or what?
I don't know. It's like if I can take this pawn, then
White
I'm
is
very sure it's not equal. Yeah. So, yeah. How did we get here actually? What happened? Because actually, before this, we really liked black. Yeah. Early on, we liked black. It's like one of these really nice, like, Karokan, yeah? It's not a Karokan, but it's a Karokan structure. Yeah? And then black played f6. Interesting. He wanted to break the center like this. It's double-edged, yeah, for sure. Bishop f6 and white plays rook b3. He go back to a7. Interesting.
I like white in this position.
Yeah, I
Because
think that f6 was not right. Yeah.
the e6 pawn is the problem.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like black needs a lot of
Yeah.
like concrete play. Yeah.
I play f6 if the bishop on c8, not there.
That's true. That's true. I mean,
Yeah, because you can attack now the bishop now in this
it's true, right?
position.
That's
Then
that's
the
a good
a6 is the
point.
problem.
Yeah, the whole point is that f6 is trying to free your pieces, right? But the piece is already free,
Yeah.
so there is no need to play f6. Yeah. Castles h3. Okay, and he gets this pawn, but it's like
Yeah.
it's he'll get e6 and no, you're right. I like white. Yeah, I like white. Okay, but the pawn starts to go. What? He go b5? Why he didn't take
Take one.
queen d4, rook d8, queen e3? Trying to think why he didn't take. Because I'm a greedy man. If I can see, I want to take. Yeah. What's the reason? Rook d8, I guess. What?
Yeah.
But then I go back. Maybe I don't have a very nice square to go back to. Yeah.
Then
Because
rook
if I do
d8.
this, then I guess I have to worry about this
Yeah.
always. Yeah. Okay. I have no good square to go. Really? It's hard to believe.
But you have
There will be
rook
knight d3. There will be
huh?
knight d3. Yeah.
Then the queen is free.
No, I mean if the queen goes here, there will be knight d3.
No, queen a3.
Then rook e7 there.
Yeah,
e7 there.
yeah.
That's true. That's true actually. Then what do we do? It's weird. Yeah, queen e7. It looks very nice now. Maybe not like very nice, but
But I think
it's a pawn, no?
capture. He will capture only then rook d2.
Yeah, but you will take this with white, no? I feel like white is very safe here, no? But he's hitting both. Okay. Yeah, that maybe is a thing.
Wait now.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Who?
Who against who?
Grandmaster.
Grandmaster against Leo Dede.
I am Indonesia.
Yeah, maybe this is why. Let's see.
You see,
NM.
you see, yeah, you see, hi to
No, he should
YouTube.
take actually. Computer like to take. Oh, he says rook d1 is fine as well. Interesting. He says actually rook queen e3 is correct, and
Yeah.
after rook e3, he said knight. I think he wants just like he just wants this again and rook e2 or something. Rook c1. Okay. And if knight d3,
Then battery now there.
do I have rook f7 or some clever tactic like that? No, just this simple chess.
Yeah.
Simple but more than good enough. Yeah.
I think white is okay.
No, it is more than okay. So he should have taken the pawn. Interesting. Well, okay. But okay, he played rook d1, makes sense also. Knight f5. Yeah,
I
not
think
sure
that's
about
his
this.
problem. No? If really grandmaster like Magnus Carlsen, he gonna lose it because of that pawn only, right?
Yeah,
On b3.
f7 and see his idea is to kick the knight. But yeah, now okay,
Yeah,
he played
queen
queen f3. Yeah, that's right. Actually, it's tough to keep that pawn. Yeah,
So rook
it's not
needs
so
to go.
easy to. Yeah, it's not so easy to keep the pawn. Rook, it's probably e8 or f8. Yeah,
A8,
e8 probably, I guess. Then where we should go.
knight c6.
Yeah, makes sense. I guess we will never have problems with our knight, so we just do this, yeah. And then take, yeah, I guess. Take it. Yeah. I think I take.
Not queen
Okay,
to
but still
7.
check, yeah.
Some complicated.
Still is not over. Still is not over. I was thinking to drop the knight somewhere else, actually. So that I can take with the queen.
The pawn.
I wanted to do the queen. Because I'm worried that, yeah, you will check me and everything, and it's messy. So I want to take with the queen. Question is, can you stop me? Right? Can you stop me?
Rook E2.
Rook E2. I don't. Oh, I cannot take. That would be not very nice. That's not very nice. Uh, no. No, but now I can take here. No. I want this.
I think what is okay now. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see anything. Yeah. Yeah. So what can you do? You can throw D2, but I don't think it does anything. Yeah. Just one check and then it's over. Check and G3. Finish. Oh, maybe it's just bad, no? If knight E4, you don't have a check anymore. I'm Rook D3. Ah, maybe something like knight F2 there.
Knight F2.
I was thinking whether. Oh, but you have back rank. It's still the. No, that's not back. No, that is back rank. That's Rook D8.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking some idea like this. The problem is you can take, yeah, check and King H2 and
Black
back rank. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So black is in huge trouble. Okay, he played Rook F8. What?
Uh,
What else? I mean, Knight Rook E8 was so bad. We had to do this here.
so Knight C6.
Yeah, he must. We must with the knight, I guess. Yeah, I guess Knight F5 makes less sense now, so probably Knight C6, yeah. Queen C5.
So capture.
Okay.
Check.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I was thinking of some knight move, but like even if you do something like this, firstly, I can probably take it.
Yeah.
But also I have at least queen takes F8, queen F8, rook D8 with a winning endgame, right? So I was like, okay, that doesn't work. Check, king H2. Again, no discover with the knight. So it's a pawn, no?
Queen capture pawn.
Ah, you take here.
Yeah.
No, this is similar to what we saw just now. We said we wanted to avoid this, right? Something. Can we avoid it? I don't like this. Maybe it's still good for us, but I don't like to allow this. Anyway, where else we can go with the knight? Knight F5 looks dumb, so I think it has to be knight C6. Yeah.
Only Knight C6.
Because knight F5, he just moves the knight and then my knight. They'd be in trouble, yeah? So knight C6 played, queen C5 instant played. He blitzed this move, queen C5. Now what? It's a question, no?
I think
Does it
capture
make
now,
sense to
capture.
play
Capture
B4?
rook. Capture pawn.
Okay,
If check, then king H2.
yeah.
Then you can play queen.
Queen.
Fair enough.
I think he will be greedy, yeah. Take another one.
Oh yeah, if you want, you can move.
I was thinking, right, can we do B4 here? Does this make sense?
Not
Because
take
now
it
my
first.
pawn doesn't hang.
Ah.
With the pawn on B4, it doesn't hang here. I'm just worried because, in some lines my rook could be a bit loose. But I don't see how we can exploit that. Yeah. So in some line like this, probably, yeah.
Queen capture.
But I rather
yeah,
have
this
him
one
take
is-
this than to take that one, right?
Then you can play.
Yeah, I was a bit concerned whether you can do this, but then I
capture.
think
You can
I...
capture only that knight.
Oh yeah, I can just take it, yeah. Yeah, there's nothing here. So then he must take this.
You can play rook A2 if you want. Then capture the pawn.
Yeah, that's
But I
true.
think
Well, he has a check. We don't get a pawn right away. But it's gonna be hard for him to protect, I guess. Yeah, I like this for white. Yeah.
this queen.
Let's see what we are talking about makes any sense. Okay, so that's interesting to see.
Because it-
Best move is b4, but it's not by much. Yeah, only little bit only.
Yeah, I think that's correct move.
Only for by a bit. Queen c3.
Capture.
Check. And now he... How is this... So he said rook a3, right? Ah, queen d5. Queen d5. Takes and takes. We still cannot take, no?
Mm.
He just says h6.
Then F3.
Wow, like this. And it will be a probably 2 versus 3.
That check.
That's why 0.3, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll be like a 2 versus 3. That's the most likely. Yeah, and then he will take this one and it will be 2 versus 3. And we will play this until 9:30 p.m. Yeah, that's what happened. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, and we'll
We need
see.
to eat first.
Okay, sure. It's good to
Yeah.
see you, Rick.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me. Ah, Kim Yu.
Huh?
Kim Yu.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait. Ah, okay, I just saw someone. I'm gonna ask him to join. Okay. So, let's take a 5 minute break and I'll see you about 5 to 10 minutes, okay? After that guy's finished eating, and I want to have a bite as well. So, yeah, please stay tuned. All right, guys, we are back, and it's not looking good for Aino. She's getting crushed at the moment, but it's what it is. We left it somewhere here, and yeah, Rook A5, and she just had a nice blockade. Rook C7. She managed to get the pawn going. Fair play to her, but it's really bad. Rook C1, and the rook's coming in. Yeah, so knight E6, and yeah. Oh, we were wondering why the bishop got on A8. No, the bishop was on D5, so she had to recapture. Uh, yeah, probably she didn't have to go rook h8. Like knight d7 was better, probably even cleaner. But okay, this is definitely good enough. And now she just creates a pass pawn, and it's completely done because the black pawns are very slow, and then the h pawn just goes. So this is just hopeless. d5 and e4, and yeah, the pawns just get stopped completely. Yeah, I know it's losing all her pawns, and it's over. Literally anything like rook a7 followed by h7 looks like the easiest way. And unfortunately, this is not going to be a great result from Aino, but I'm sure she'll come back stronger tomorrow. Yeah, just we left this one here real quick, and it's just gonna finish this one up because we left it here, right? h5, and this is exactly what I predicted. And queen g5, she is very strong. It's definitely not self-promotion of any sort. And I would just say I was a little bit stronger because I saw this and and a mate, but then I realized I've been a bit dumb, so maybe I should be a bit more careful. But actually, just going back, it's just winning. But okay, anyway, bishop e4 was played, and yeah, it's completely winning. Queen e5, and the problem is just rook g3, rook. Yeah, it's gonna go rook g5, threatening rook takes h5, I guess, and it's just hopeless. Yeah, so black is going to lose this game. Yeah, I think that pretty much concludes it for today. Most of the games are finished. Oh, just a quick update. Uh, Aka has lost. Yeah, I think this is this is an important development. We left it somewhere here, and we said that me and Rohan were saying actually there is some interesting play, and Black decided to give his bishop immediately, which I think was a mistake. I mean, it was definitely a mistake. I don't know what he missed. Maybe he thought there was this. Yeah, that makes sense. But he missed that there is this counter-attacking bishop c3, and yeah, now rook a d1, and such strong play, getting rid of that rook, and e4, another very strong move. And yeah, I guess if knight g3, then we can take, and yeah, rook d1 is the problem, because if you go king e6, it's mate, and if you go back, I think we just bring our king, and then we have all sorts of threats now. Rook d6 is one of them. So that's just dead lost at this point. Okay, so what did he do? He played rook g6, and now it's just over. Okay, rook d7 was not played. I don't know what happened, but basically, white won this game. It was a broadcast error, but white won. Okay, so yeah, I think that's pretty much all the Malaysians done, which means I can go home a little bit early. Just gonna see if we can find no, we can't find him. Efren's not there. But yeah, Joey and Antonio agreed to draw after FE3. He just offered a draw. Probably right. I mean, his position was not that great, so yeah, makes sense. Just take a draw there. And yep, I think that's most of the games done. Yeah, yeah, most of the interesting ones at least. Oh, we have actually quite an interesting position. So maybe one more that's not done. Uh, what do we have? We have this game, right? We were looking, me and Rohan, c5, and yeah, b takes c4. Queen b6 was played, and we were saying it's not so easy, yeah? But okay, we're thinking of like bishop e4. He plays rook c8. Tricky guy, of course. If you do this, to the absolutely horrible for white to see. So white plays knight c3. This is smart, I guess, because wait, if he takes this, then I guess some knight a4 is gonna happen, yeah? Knight a4 is gonna happen, and yeah, these pieces are gonna get into trouble. Yeah, for instance, I think what you could do, maybe just go back, yeah. But then we just take, and then yeah, and then you just get pinned everywhere. Rook c1, and it's just lost. Okay, so he plays bishop f2, and yeah, okay, white's got two pieces for this rook, so definitely white's for choice, but at the same time black has Oh, so white got the pawn back. So actually, it's just two pieces for the rook. But of course, white's structure is a little bit compromised, and I think yeah, white can retain an advantage with a lot of moves. Probably it's best to trade off this knight just to make things easy. Yeah, and white will press this for a long time, and we'll see whether black will crack here. Yeah. One last game, there is this rehung game, but it's not complete, so I mean we can't really say what happened here. Certainly black was better at the end, and black wouldn't have taken the draw here, but yeah, we can't really see the end. Some broadcast issues. But that's alright, yeah. So I think that's pretty much all the games done for the day. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me. And yeah, I will see you again tomorrow at about 9.